Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, you pestilent peanuts. I haven't said that one yet. Hello, welcome to this round 6 of the Lone Star Open. My name is Adam Camilleri, joining you for this 6th round of an absolute extravaganza, bringing you the top 2 tables. I'm joined today by Dustin, Henshaw. Started calling him Sean for unknown reasons. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I'll take the Sean, and I'm still trying to get over the pestilent peanuts. I like it, but I'm still trying to understand it. But am I ever excited for this round 6? This is going to be amazing. You got the matchup that you wanted to see. You wanted to see Sean Nade take on that MSU Venom style Drukhari list, and you thought he was going to have trouble with it, and he might because they're going first.
Dude, I called it. I said, if it's a list he doesn't want to play, even he stated when we asked him, what do you not want to play? He says, how do you go into this ultra MSU army, especially one that moves an extra couple of inches, shoots extra good, can clear all your objective holders, tap all your shooting? He's like, yeah, I'm really worried, especially in this mission because it's Dawn of War, you can start so close. And then he said, yeah, if I go first, I think I smash down a bunch of his Venoms. It's not a problem. If he goes first, it's going to be really rough. And you know what? The Venoms, Mr. Fennel has gone first, and he's going to be going deep and fast. He's going to tap. He's going to wrap. He's going to do whatever he can to disrupt Sean's plans, and he has a really good chance of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what he did. This is best case scenario for the Drukhari in this case. And like Sean was right. If he got first turn, all the amount of shooting he has out of line of sight, doesn't matter where he hid, he would be able to take down a lot of his mobility, make sure he couldn't do much to him on turn 1, and kind of take control of the game early on. But because he's going second, the Drukhari have a chance here to actually mitigate the shooting that's going to happen into them, and they might be able to make this a really tight game now.
So we're just going to have a quick roll. So for those at home, don't know what this mission may be. This is, what is it? But it's a Scorched Earth. So this is a 6-objective mission, Dawn of War deployment. 2 objectives on your deployment line, then 2 in No Man's Land, spread out to the wide edges of the No Man's Land line. Then, of course, mirrored by your opponent. The secondary here is Raise, which I doubt anybody's going to take in this one. But if anybody was going to take it, Mr. Fennel might be the guy who takes it.
Yeah.
What do you see? Which list would you like to go over first?
We're over here. Let's go through Naden's list again because that's a fun one to go through, and it's just awesome. You want me to go through that one first here? So yeah, we have Naden's spearhead attachment of his craft for the expert crafter's masterful shots. He has the Autarch Skyrunner. He has a Farseer Skyrunner with a Guide and Doom, the standard. He's got a 9-man Shadow Spectre squad, a 5-man Shadow Spectre squad, a 4-man Shining Spears, 5 Swooping Hawks that he regrets that he mentioned in his interview that he did not spend the time to change one of them into an X-Circle. He's 1 wound down on his list already, which is unfortunate, but them's the breaks, I guess, sometimes. Just it was a little bit of a dupes. And he also has his standard 3-man Dark Reaper squads that have the long range fire and the Tempest launchers for the extra range and out of line of sight shooting that is going to be really helpful against this list as well. And he also has a Night Spinner and a 3-man squad of Shadow Weaver support weapons. And then he has his Soaring Spite Patrol detachment of Harlequins. So he's got his Soaring Spite Sky Strider Fanglord, so he can be getting out of the transport after it moves. And as he said in his interview, he loves to spend his 7 CP, get out, fight something, get back in the transport, and be safe. And he also has, of course, with 2 other Star Weavers, they are filled with 5 fusion pistols in one, with 4 embraces, 1 caress, and 6 in the other with 3 embraces, 3 caress. And to round it all out, he has a Death Jester with humbling cruelty and the Domino Shroud.
Yeah, look, this is a really well positioned list in the meta. Running into these big blocks of AdMech, the things with the 20 Rangers, the 20 Vanguard, this thing absolutely crushes them. We saw it in the last game. He played exactly into the matchup he wanted to do. Poor Mr. Townsend, his turn 1, he lost half of his infantry. Turn 2, he lost the other half. Just had some stragglers going out into turn 4 when he ended up calling it. And he ended up pretty much getting wiped. It was red to be seen whether that last Disintegrate was going to get picked up. But my man, he's playing into Mr. Fennel, and Mr. Fennel has got a very unique list of his own. This is 2 lists that we, did not expect to see this deep into an event. If it wasn't being piloted by 2 gentlemen of this caliber, you probably wouldn't see him at all. Mr. Fennel starts off with a patrol detachment. This one is of Cult of Red Grief. Which is already off the beaten track. Usually it's always Cult of Strife. You're going to take any witches. And he has Drazar, with then a Succubus with the Triptych Whip and Show Stealer. Then he has 3 units of Witches, just bare bones, a unit of Incubi, a single 5-man, 2 Raiders with Blade Veins and Dark Lancers, Phantasm Grenade Launchers. Then he has another patrol detachment. This one is where things start to get spicy. This is a custom Cabal. It is Merciless Razorkin and Mobile Raiders. Mobile Raiders is +2 to their movement, taking them from movement 16 to movement 18, and Merciless Razorkin is exploding 6s on all their splinter weapons. And so you kind of get the idea where this is going. He has an Archon in here with Tolerated Ambition and another Succubus. This one has Show Stealer and a Shardnet Impaler with the Animus Vitae. Then he has 3 more units of 5 Witches, 2 more units of 5 Incubi, 1 unit of 5 Scourges, bare bones, just Shard Carbines, and then, get this, 8 Venoms. That's 8. That's a lot.
Count them.
That's 8. Just putting it out there. That's a lot. Then he has another freaking detachment because, it's Drukhari. It just goes on and on.
You need control.
This one is Cult of Strife, as you'd expect. This one has a Succubus. This one has Dark Lotus Toxin, Precision Blows, Erase of Flails. Of course, it is what it is. And then 3 more units of Witches. To surmise, that is 9 units of Witches, 3 units of Incubi, Drazar, 3 Succubi, 1 Archon, 2 Raiders, 8 Venoms, and 1 unit of Scourges, which apparently he doesn't need because you forgot to deploy him last turn.
He doesn't need them apparently. So
doesn't need them.
I gotta say, you better not forget them in this game though. You might need them here. You might need them.
Exactly right. So this is game 1 for us. We're going to be covering this top table, and we're going to be covering the second table, which is John Lennon versus Colin McDade. We'll call that one and jump over there in a couple of minutes after we see the lay of the land and possibly see the majority of the Drukhari turn 1, because they have gone first. And in the words of Mr. Naden during his interview at the end of last round, he said this is what he was worried about, playing into this list and it going first on him when he only has 1 turn to do when he's shooting, and he's going to take some fire in return, because these Venoms at 18-inch range, you can't really line of sight. You can't really outline a sight them. They're going to get some angles. Now, calling Mr. Naden's deployment, he's been very cagey, but I'm surprised that he's deployed as much as he has, if I'm honest. On the left-hand side, he has his 5 Shadow Spectres, and then to the middle of the board, I can't quite make that out, but I believe that's his 8-man unit of Shadow Spectres next to his 4-man unit of Shining Spears, possibly a character or 2 in there. He does have 2 biker characters. The other biker character is nestled with his Shadow Weavers behind this central ruin to the left of that clump of bikes, and he's got another character in there with them. And then all the way to the right, he has his Night Spinner being shielded by his 2 Star Weavers, that are full of troop. You want to tell us what you see for the Dark Eldar deployment and their first turn movements?
Yeah, it looks like the Dark Eldar are actually being pretty aggressive with his movement. He doesn't have quite enough movement to start getting the tapping on turn 1, but because he can't hide from them, it makes perfect sense to just keep moving up the board. So it looks like he's got 2 of the Venoms moving up on the left-hand side. One of them already took that objective. Another one moving right up the center there, trying to contest that this bottom left objective. 2 in the middle. I think those are both witch-filled, if I can see them properly there. 2 more on the top right that are just standing on that objective to make sure he holds that. There is a unit of witches in the top left alone on that objective. That is a very, very vulnerable objective to all the out of line of sight shooting that's on the table right now.
Yeah, what are you seeing for the secondaries for Nathan? What's he taking? What's he going for?
So right now, Nathan looked like he took an engage on all fronts, in which it looks like he already got the 2 points. His first turn, he did take first turn. It looks like it's over because he's scoring his 2 engage on all fronts, unless they're just assuming that's not going to change and just giving the points right away. He also has 2 the last again, which makes sense because he's got the 2 Raiders and Drazar, which it looks like he has them in Deep Strike right now. And he took Retrieval Activity Data as well. Yeah, that is the end of turn 1 for the Drukhari. They've just moved up. They maybe got a couple pot shots off in the Shadow Spectres at best, but he's just trying to get in a position so he can try to tie up all the shooting. He's hoping to survive this turn of shooting, at least with a couple of Venoms, so he can tie up the shooting and make sure he can hurt Sean in the next turn.
Look, there's a couple of things I'm seeing here from Nathan that I'm not... I suppose I'm only going to be saying these things because I know the caliber of Sean Naden. I've called so many of his games. I've played him personally. I feel like this is going too deep. He doesn't need to go this far. He just literally needs to get up to... He's got 18-inch moves, guys. He just needs to get onto just shy of the middle line, and then he can reach anywhere into his opponent's back line from that point. They're only 12-inch deployments. You're only going to be 12 inches away, so you're going to be 6 inches into his deployment and have a 6-inch charge onto literally anything in his deployment zone from just your side, maybe a mil away from the center line of the middle of the table. There's no need to get this far up. All you're doing is just inviting to get charged and shot ad nauseum. And if you're on the other side of the table, you have some options for getting out of line of sight. As it is right now, Sean can pretty much pick where he wants to put his focus. And on top of that, you've just let him use his fusion pistols, which he wasn't going to be able to use otherwise. Both those fusion boats are going to be able to get onto those middle Venoms this turn. Can probably pop them both pretty easily. And then the contents inside just get picked up by Shadow Weavers, etc., etc. If I was Sean, I would have been really, really worried about this turn 1, saying oh my god, I could just auto lose turn 1. But now seeing it now, he's like, wow, he's just given me 4 Venoms to just kill. And on top of that, I'm really not. I wish he didn't take to the last. I really wish he didn't, because I feel like he needs to use those assets this game. He needs to have the Raiders. He needs to have Drazar doing stuff in this game. He can't just sit it on the backboard and expect it to do nothing. And the fact is, he's going to not use those points at all. He has to not use them whatsoever. And they're only toughness 6 chassis. That, like, the Night Spinner can just kill one by itself, like as soon as it comes down. Especially with Doom, it just pops it. So I'm really worried about to the last frame. I would have really much rather see him take the Purge the Vermin instead, because then he gets to some reward for doing the things he has to do already. When Sean shoots at these small units, he's got these small surgical units to jump onto objectives. He gets reward by clearing them off, which he wants to do anyway. Clear them off, and you get points for doing so. You get primary for doing so. I felt like that was a nice little double down that I expected to see, and I didn't. I also wouldn't have been surprised to see Raise, because that would also play into his hands. Jump turn 1 when he goes first, flood his opponent's objective, raise them, and then just if he shoots you off him, he clears you out from his deployment zone. Who cares? Job done. There's no primary for you anymore. So I wouldn't have been surprised to see that either. What's give us a synopsis of Sean's secondaries, and what do you think about him?
Yeah, so Sean is also taking engage on all fronts as always, because he's very fast units and very good MSU. So obviously that makes sense for him to take that. And he could also have been anticipating him taking Purge the Vermin. No, not Purge the Vermin. Sorry, no, it is Purge.
Yeah.
You got what? No. That Purge the Vermin is the Necron one. We're thinking of the Necron one. You know what I'm talking about. Heard the fray. That's what it is. Thank you. Yeah, so he could have been anticipating that, and just engaging on front just makes sense, because you want to counter it as you can. Bring it down makes sense, because there's so many things that he's got to kill anyway, and there's just free points on the table, so he may as well take that, because he's got to do it anyway and just get those points. Now, grind them down is huge now that he's going second, and especially because he can just pick whatever he needs to kill. He doesn't need to kill that much this turn. Obviously, he wants to do as much damage as he can, because if those Venoms get a chance to go into his back line, then they're going to stop a lot of the shooting. But he actually needs to be a little careful in the grind them down, not to kill too much once Nathan can start killing some stuff back. But I think you were right on the money when you said, like, with his deployment on the first turn and his movement on the first turn, I think he committed a little too much in the open.
Same.
He could have hidden a little bit more, just to make sure he was still set up for good charges next turn, and make Sean come a little bit further up before he committed too far. Right now, he's kind of giving Sean free reign to see exactly what he needs to kill.
And if you see what he's doing right now, look at the Shining Spears. They've moved up to the wall. They're going to touch the wall, shoot their shuriken catapults through, clear that back objective, and probably still pop a Venom, and still charge what comes out of it. He's just let that unit kill 3 things pretty much.
For sure, and that's actually a big deal.
No one lets Sean Naden do anything. He just decides what he wants to do, and you can't really do much about it. But anyway, we're just getting word from our table boss. What's up, Richard? There we go. So it looks like John Lennon has gone second in his game, and to give you a term what happened in his opponent's turn, looks like he's only lost 1 Rhino from the AdMech shooting in the entire AdMech turn 1. That looks really good for Lennon. As much as Sean didn't want to go second in this game, John really didn't give a crap about his game. In fact, if we can, we might stay here. We keep leaving at the start of shooting phases and pisses people off. So we'll stay here for the shooting phase, see how many Venoms go down, then we'll jump over and see how John's doing in his turn 1. But all right, my man. How many Venoms do you think he loses this turn?
Well, I'm curious to see how many he's actually going to be targeting. Right now, his main priority is to kill those witches on the back left objective. Now, I understand why Nathan got out of it. He obviously did retrieve Octarius data with those guys. That's why they got out. The only thing is he should have kept at least another Venom-filled guys on there, because right now he can just take it off. Now, the other thing is Sean has to kill an entire other objective worth of stuff, so it's not like a huge deal to kick them off of that unless he can do more, because he's still going to get a 10 either way. He's not going to get a 15 at this point, but it also means that Sean doesn't have to commit too much, because he doesn't have to take that right objective in the middle either and still get hold of the 10, because he can kill those witches in the back line.
Yeah, exactly right. I think, so there's 2 Venoms in the top right-hand corner. One of those Venoms should have shot across and doubled down on the top left one. Then it's really hard for Sean to clear the stuff that's going to come into his face and deny his opponent's primary. I do think we're going to see, look at the right-hand objective. There's nothing on it. It's the right and the bottom one now. There's too many Venoms too close together for my mind. There's no reason you can't have a spread line. And you know that you're just letting the fusions do what they want to do right now, having Venoms close to each other. Those Shadow Spectres as well are a legitimate thing here. Only toughness 5 on those Venoms, whereas Shadow Spectres have strength 6 guns. I'm really surprised no significant damage was done in this shooting phase by Nathan. Did he even shoot? Do we know?
Yeah, I think the only thing he could have shot is maybe the Shadow Spectres with that 1 Venom. I don't think he had many lines of sight there.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
He had no lines of sight.
Okay.
Yeah, if he couldn't get any lines of
Fair
sight,
enough.
he definitely shouldn't have committed that
Nah.
far. So
Nah.
he's really hoping that maybe he's underestimating how much shooting Naden's actually has. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because it doesn't look like much on paper. It doesn't really look like
It
much on
absolutely
paper.
doesn't.
And you assume a lot of it's just going to come from no line of sight stuff. So it's like, if it's all shooting me anyway, why not take up as much board
Yeah,
as I can?
exactly.
But the thing is, he has all these little pinch hitting units, and you don't want to let him use those. You don't want to let him get like mileage out of those, because all those units are taken for very specific reasons, and usually they only really activate versus certain opponents. But if you just give him stuff and give him wasted reasons to get value out of him, you're kind of just bleeding out. I'm really worried about Nathan here, but who knows? Like, he could just pop Venoms and all the witches get out, and the same thing, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Or he could lose everything. He could lose everything that's got in his front lines right now. Yeah,
it could be winning. The thing is, too, Sean knows this matchup. He was ready for this matchup, so he knew there's no point in deep striking his Shadow Specters because of the mobility that the Dark Eldar have, which meant they started on the table, which also meant that Nathan really needed to be ready for these Shadow Specters to come out and do some damage turn one if he committed too hard. That's the thing.
Exactly right. And so it's what I really want to know right now. What happened on table 6?
No!
Oh no!
Stompa! No!
What? So so the table we really wanted to call this game as well. We actually wanted to get so the boys talked us out of it because we were so far away from the main hub where we do most of the streaming that we're gonna have to wheel a rig all the way out to table 11 because Wyatt Turk was playing what's the gentleman's name? No, we're in the sorry, Val's just poked in. We are not. We are in the Naden shooting phase. I want to catch the Naden shooting phase for us. So who was it? It was Wyatt Turk versus what's his damn name? I am so sorry, guys.
You're looking for the orc player?
Yeah.
Ben Jurek.
Ben Jurek versus Wyatt Turk. That was the double Lord of Skulls versus the freaking Stomper.
Ooh.
I mean, we wanted to get that one on because it was only going to go for 20 minutes anyway, so we could probably get that entire game and then wheel over and get another entire game. But it was just a hell of a lot of legwork for the production crew. We didn't want to put them through it. But it sounds like who went first there, Richard? Do you know? Did it just Corn Lord of Skulls went first?
Yeah, Chaos player went first. Yeah,
Chaos player went first. Pop the Stomper. That's probably as much as there is to say
poor
about
Stomper,
that one.
The poor Stomper.
Everyone stand up, hand over the heart, pour one out for the Stomper. We almost had a Stomper make the top 8. But surprisingly, most likely, we're going to have double Corn Lord of Skulls in the top 8, which is freaking incredible.
Ooh, that's actually cool too. All right. You know what? Either one of those was a good option. I'm okay with either one. I'm down. Let's do this.
Yeah, exactly right. Yoshi just pointed out Nathan is setting up for a brutal turn 2. He is going to have a savage turn 2.
Oh,
kind of either way. The problem is he started... So with this, when you got this much MSU, you got to stop. You got to not bleed out too early. And the thing is, he is going to start bleeding out significantly from turn 1. What you want to do is you want to bleed out very short at the start and hugely at the end, because at the end is when you want to be denying your opponent's primary and scoring the majority of your secondaries. Now, if you start bleeding out at first, you lose the ability to get those primary and those secondary at the end of the game. The things like the 3 points on engage, the Retrieval data. If you get degloved, demech'd, like... Yeah, and the fact is he's playing with to the last. He's playing without 3 units, one of them being the most killer unit he has in his army. That could be something that's charging into, if it wasn't to the lasted right now, could be stuff that's charging into these Shadow Specters, picking up the whole 9-man by himself and being a nuisance right in his opponent's lines. I really want to know on this table, Richard, if you listen to us, our man on the ground, where are the Incubi? I really want to know where they are.
Yeah, which one of the Incubi in?
Because they're public enemy number 1 for Sean, because they're the only things that are going to run in and pick up his units wholesale. Fair. Well, I thought if you could stand up and look at the back of his Venoms, because he's got dudes in the back of his Venoms, you can see which ones have got Incubi in them.
The Incubi are the ones with the cool mask and weird swords.
Yeah, the guys with the fang things coming out of their backsies. We're getting F's in the chat for Stomper. F's all the way down. Rip.
Yeah, everybody, moment of silence for the Stomper.
Yeah. It was a good moment. Looks like we're getting this shooting phase dialed up.
In the middle?
Okay. All 3 of the closest Venoms have the incubi in them.
Oh.
So in all likelihood, he loses all his incubi this turn, and that is horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
He needs those for sure. And I think Sean was definitely measuring to those ones. He knows those incubi need to go down.
If Nathan listens to this on the watchback, why are they so close, dude? Next turn you get advance in charge.
Yeah,
they can go from wherever they want to wherever they want to be anyway. Like why do they need to be up there, man? We're seeing one unit of the Harlequins jump up on the right side to harass the top right-hand objective of Mr. Nathan. Both of them are going up, in fact. Both are going up to do the damage. I'm interested to know if he's going to pump all that CP in and use the Fangmaster to get out, kill one of them, pop back in, or kill the unit. Because he's now got 2 units on that. So if he does pop either of those, he has another 5 moles to contend with OBSEC. So he needs to actually kill kind of everything that comes out as well. So maybe he gets the Fangmaster out, pops both boats. I think we're about to see the Fangmaster be placed. Wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, look, there he is. There's a Fangmaster.
There he is. He's ready. Wherever they get out, he can go into them.
Exactly right. And so top left-hand corner is probably going to get cleared. Looks like Sean is seeing that he is probably. I think he's in the driver's seat, guys.
Yeah,
and
I think
you don't want him to be.
He's going for the throat right now. He sees an opportunity. He has the options to kill exactly what he needs to kill and make it so that Nathan's going to have a really hard time figuring out exactly how to counterpunch where he needs to counterpunch. Because if those Venoms in the back go down, if he loses his incubi in the front, his countercharge is gonna suffer. If Sean can manage to get them down. If not, he is in a position to do an immense amount of damage on the countercharge. But he has to make so many saves right now. He needs the hope that the nice guys are on his side for this turn for sure.
So do Venoms auto advance 6? They have to roll, yeah? They're not bikes, so they have to roll. But the Venoms get advance in charge, guys. They get drugs. So what I actually thought was going to happen is we're going to see a conservative move up by Nathan turn 1, and then we're going to get 18 plus a d6 plus 2d6 from all these Venoms turn 2, and everything in Sean's army just gets tapped. They all just get tapped. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no shooting phase, and he's locked out from the board, stuck in his deployment zone, or just outside his deployment zone if he moved up aggressively. What we are seeing instead was Nathan maybe he saw his opportunity to go in and do some damage turn 1, or saw his opportunity to reach all the way into the backfield and shut down all this shooting. But maybe he's underestimated just how much damage Sean can do. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he's actually just like, deglove my stuff. I still have a couple of incubi left. All I need is a handful of guys to get the job done here. And who knows, maybe he's spot on.
Yeah, it's true. He might actually have this. The other thing is too, he is playing Sean Nathan. He knows he's playing Sean Nathan, so he might be thinking, you know what, I have to go for Hail Mary here. I know if I can get into his back line, I can take control of this game, and I know he has a lot of out of sight shooting. So I just need to get in a position to be able to do as much damage as possible in turn 2, and hope that I have a turn 2.
Exactly right.
There is something to be said about playing against the big name people that you see all the time, and it can be intimidating. So sometimes you got to make the Hail Mary play.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go for it. And I would be of the opinion that Nathan wants this over quickly. The longer it goes, the more it favors Sean. He gets more mileage from his tech, more mileage from his tricks, and he gets to wear him down with all that firepower.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm worried about those 2 Venoms in the middle right there because of the Shadow Specters being in that exact position. I think you need to measure out the threat range of a lot of those guns at least, and make sure you can't just get popped right away. Because right now, Sean is getting full value from his entire army.
He gets full value. So Nathan had his turn 1, got to do literally nothing but move, maybe take some pot shots, and now Sean is using every single unit in his army to its full effect, and that's just going to be the tale of this battle round at least. And we'll see. Maybe it's not going to be enough. We know how swingy fusion pistols can be. They can flub, not do the damage. We know how Shadow Specters, sometimes they can just flub too. All these Venoms are -1 to hit with a decent invuln. And then when the stuff gets out, if they just survive, it's mission accomplished.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do.
Yeah, exactly right. That's all he needs to do.
We were talking about before that Sean actually, it's a little harder for him to kill some of the vehicles, although toughness 5 is a lot easier for him to get through. But there's a lot of vehicles to get through, and as long as a couple of those infantry get out and are able to get the charge off, they could still be a game. And he'll be able to take away objectives, tie up his shooting, kill the things he needs to kill in close combat. He just needs enough of it to survive to do it.
Yeah, exactly right. We've had. Yeah, so right now Sean's just taking his pot shots here and there, probably just shuriken cannon stuff from the Starweavers. We haven't had the big stuff dial in yet. Or the only damage we've seen done so far is we've seen 1 or 2 wounds being done to the most upper right Venom. Interesting. So I do think a couple of wounds have been done on the unit of witches in the top left-hand corner. There was a unit of 5, now it's a unit of 3. If they survive, that's a big deal. But he still has all the line of sight shooting.
That was from all the Shining Spears?
Yeah, so the Shining Spears have shot their shurikens, and they've shot their heat lancers, and first and foremost, the heat lancers haven't popped a venom, and the shurikens didn't kill the witches. So these are both amazing things for Nathan. And right now we are seeing a venom being popped, probably by looks like fusion pistols, and he looks like he's done an emergency disembark because he's measuring a 6-inch range to see if he can jump on that most right-hand objective. Looks like it's pretty close. Looks like it's pretty damn close.
Pretty close. That might be getting the guy on there. And that's actually a big deal because that's going to split up Sean's shooting even more. And if his dice rolls continue to get flubbed the wrong way, the judge is going to measure. It's that close.
Judge going to measure. Beautiful. It's so close. And if he can do this, that's just going to counteract all the good work Sean's doing right now and just leave him still on a 10-point primary.
He might be in a really good spot if this goes off. Like Nathan might actually still get the turn 2 that he needed.
Yeah, and good call, gentlemen. Getting the judge to just do it. No ifs, no buts, no arguing. Just make it happen.
That's the way to do it, guys.
This is absolutely, guys.
He's going so meticulously. This is a very important measurement.
Yeah, extremely important.
Doesn't look like it's quite there. Ooh,
yeah,
so close. It is so close.
Oh man, it's actually it's a phenomenally big deal and well spotted. The clock needs to be. Who should the clock be on in this? I think it should be on Nathan.
I think it's on Nathan. Yeah, it should be on.
Nathan
for sure.
Yeah, it's him resolving part of his move, his disembark. It should be on him.
Yeah, definitely.
Lonely Sambar's just chimed in and told us that the other venom is down to 2 wounds remaining.
Yeah, that's
in all likelihood. So if it only is on 2 wounds remaining and he's shot both the units of fusion, the Fangmaster doesn't charge into it because it's 3 Star Weavers and a Fangmaster versus 1 Venom. So 100% he doesn't go into it. But this 6-inch disembark gets him away from the Fangmaster. Yeah, gets him away from the Fangmaster and onto an objective that was otherwise ungoverned. Really surprising Sean didn't put something on it, just like a token gesture to put on it. I'm really surprised as well. Doesn't look like Sean's got anything on the bottom right-hand objective either. I would have thought, maybe he's got a Fire and Fade to... Oh, he's got it. He's got it, guys. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of block space that we can't see. He might actually have something that. Oh, is it good? That looks like he's touching it.
He's good. He's on, man. Judge has decreed. Judge has decreed. So the only thing that can really stop him now is those 2 Star Weavers charge in and somehow kill 5 witches in combat, which ain't gonna freaking happen.
It shouldn't happen. Or just don't roll 5 1s right now, man. Don't do 5 1s and 2s. Don't do it. Do not do it. After all this.
Oh, come on. Okay, let's see this dice cam. I want to see how many he gets.
Please don't do it, Nathan. You need this, buddy. This is
it.
Brilliant play. Don't let. Please, dice gods. Everybody, pray to the dice gods right now.
He's lost 1.
Perfect. All right.
Bam.
That's what we
Perfection.
Wanted. There we go.
In the game.
We have a game, folks.
The judge sweating bullets indeed. Oh man,
you do not want to get that wrong.
So I'm thinking now that's happened. So what Nathan can do in response now is to fire and fade the Shadow Spectres onto the right hand objective, and then it equals him out. He won't get the 15. But that does mean that he needs to take away the top left hand objective as well. It's guaranteed he needs to take away the top left hand objective.
Yeah, that makes that very important to kill those guys. Now he's gonna have to put some of his out of line of sight shooting in there. He can put some shooting into the witches as well, but the thing is, these witches, as much as they're getting at points right now and they're really annoying, it's almost not even worth putting a lot of shots into them with those.
Yeah,
he's got other more important things to kill now.
And look, Sean's list is like based on the fact that he's gonna shred your objective holders early in the game and then get the points back later. So he's probably okay with Nathan getting that objective and running away with a couple of points, and if he's going to bring it all back and have a huge tide at the end. And so it's both these players playing really quick, and I don't know who it's going to benefit. Well, right now it's benefiting Sean, obviously, because he's getting to use all his guns, all his units. So it looks like we might have the other venom has been popped, and looks like 4 guys are getting out. Maybe one has already been deaded. And I wonder what he's going to do here. Is he just going to get away from the Fangmaster and knowing that he can't deploy on this objective at all? What would be cool is to pull the Fangmaster off the objective in and of himself, but because I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters at all. I think he's got 2 Star Weavers poking their noses onto the objective. It just doesn't look like it because of perspective. There's no way of that Sean. If Sean could have put 2 on, he wouldn't have put 2 on. There's no way he wouldn't have. And that Fangmaster just auto kills whatever it wants.
Yeah, I mean the witches do have a 4 involved in combat. They could survive. He spikes some saves.
That's true.
But the thing is, the Troop Master really, it doesn't like fighting the witches because of that invuln. He wants to fight some incubi, but he's in there to make sure that he's trying to do as much damage in the backline as possible, get that objective, and just be a threat on there. Because if he stays on there on the next turn, he'll just heroic into him, and it's just going to be a problem for Nathan for a while now.
Oh, looks like he lost 2 from that explosion, or maybe it was just 1. But so from the disembark. But so what's the Fang Master got for attacks? I think he's got 6 attacks.
Yeah, true? He has 6 attacks, but he has the Twilight Fang, so he gets +1 more for every round it is. So if it's round 1, he's got 7 attacks right now.
So he's got 7 attacks, going to hit on 2s. If you want those guys to survive, you're going to lightning fast, so maybe he hits on 3s, and then he's going to wound you on 2s, I believe, because I think he's strength 6. And so we're looking at probably 5 wounds, and he got 4 pinfalls. Yeah, dude, if it swings his way, he still has a witch left with objective secured, and he keeps that objective. Yeah, so absolutely. I don't think Sean chances it. I think Sean just he stops killing venoms right now with his line of sight shooting, just picks up the witches on the right hand objective, the top objective, and the top left objective, and that's it. And then he just uses the shadow specters to pick up all the venoms with the incubi.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth actually going into them because the witches there, if he spikes even some invulns or maybe some of the attacks or wounds don't go through very well, the witches can actually kill the troop master in response.
Yeah. Look, we are going to have to. Yeah, exactly right. We are going to have to move games, guys.
I know the shooting phase is still going on, but
we haven't even looked at the other game. So unfortunately, we are going to move. We do need to see what's going on there. We're going to hit a transition, jump over to the Sean Lennon, Colin McDade game, and give you guys a call.
End of phase, this is the only one that's not. I have no idea why. There's no
and go.
Alright, here we are.
End of the phase. I cheated myself all weekend then.
Tell us what your L5C, Colin. Sorry, not Colin, Dustin. I saw Colin's name at the top.
That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
What my L5C? I can go over what I want to say the boss.
We have audio, I think.
Give it a second.
It's a dice cam's fault, guys.
Dice cam, guys. One sec.
Right.
We've been told to make sure you know that. All right. Let us know when it's okay, chat. We want to make sure you don't. We're good. Okay, cool. So it looks like Colin went first. Turn 1, Admech moved up with Raiders on the bottom right into transport. Transport tagged mid-right objective. The Raiders charged into the bottom right objective against an exposed infantry unit, but no significant losses on either side. So it looks like it went well on for John on the turn 1. But then Sisters' turn. Sisters fell back and shoot with a strat. John was unaware center obstacle terrain was obscuring, so that might have messed up his movement. Sisters just shuffled in the deployment zone. Morgan Vile put some frag shots into Rangers, killing 5 in total. Remaining shooting killed 1 Raider. Repentia charged the Raiders. Raiders did not use fallback strat. Charged successful. Raiders were killed, and John consolidated on the mid-right objective. So John got stranglehold. That's interesting that he didn't use the strat to fall back with them, because especially if it was a stranglehold strat or points as well. So it looks like we're on turn 2 now. So Colin got 10 on his primary.
Colin.
Okay, so yeah, grind them down for Colin is actually eradication of flesh. It does not grind them down. So that's actually a very important distinction right now. So what vehicles he has? He just has the 2 units of Ballistari, right? That's the only vehicles.
And the 2 Dune Striders.
Oh, right, he's got the Dune Striders as well.
Okay. Poster boats.
Right. Okay, so that's okay.
Just a quick call of the perspectives of the deployment. At the top right-hand corner, right at the top of the table, I'm not sure if this is dead or just laying in wait for a later turn, but we do see 1 Dune Strider. And then in front of that, I presume this is a unit of Infiltrator sitting behind the terrain piece. To the right of them, we have a unit of Ballistari. In front of them, at least 1 unit, 1 block of 20 dudes. I'm getting ahead of myself. We haven't even read out these guys' lists. What am I doing? I'll do Collins.
Sure.
Let's do Collins. We've been so remiss. Sorry. No, you wanted me to do the sisters.
Oh, you have to do the sisters because the fortification just makes my skin crawl a little bit. So I gotta make sure that I go over this. I'll take this one, so you can take the next one.
No problems. Tell us about this AdMech list.
So for the AdMech list, I am on the wrong one. There we go. The AdMech list, we have the Lucius attachments. So it's got Scutari Marshal, obviously. It's got the 2 Manipulus, so this is pretty standard so far. It has 2 blocks of 20 Rangers, 2 blocks of 20 Vanguards. Then it has an 8-man Fulbright Priest, 8-man Fulbright Priest, and the Infiltrators, 5-man. It also has 2 units of 3 Ballistaries with the las cannons, as you would expect, in both of them. And man of 6 Cerberus Raiders, 7, because it looks like the Raider Alpha's in there. So 7-man Cerberus Raider squad and 2 Scorpius Dune Riders. And that is the entire list there. Pretty standard, I think. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I've coined this as the fat-free, no frills AdMech list. It's really just like one detachment with just a bunch of good stuff in it, and like played well, it's a phenomenal list. It's so well structured. It's got a bit of everything. It's got the counter assault. It's got multiple different ranges of shooting, which all perform really, really well with the applicable buffs. I think this is a really good list. It's really good, really around. It can do everything.
Yeah, I actually really like the build of this too, and it's got the blocks that he needs, and has everything, and it has the las cannons that I believe. A lot of people have been leaning towards the auto cannons, which I'm still not really sure on. I think the las cannons are better, especially with the damage buff. But why don't you go over Lennon's list, because we haven't actually seen him on stream yet.
This is Lennon's first time on stream, and I feel bad because we've given him so little time on this stream so far. But he first up has a patrol of Bloody Rose. Starts off with the Repentia Superior in the no force org slot, a bit of foreshadowing. Then has Morven Vile as his warlord in his HQ. Troop slot, a single unit of Battle Sisters. Then he has 2 units of 8 Repentia, 2 units of 5 Zephyrum. Then he goes to an Outrider, this one of Ebon Chalice. The HQ here is Celestine because she's freaking OP, the same as Morven Vile. Then he has a unit of 8 Sacrosancts. These ones have the Halberds. Sorry, it looks like 9 Sacrosancts, apologies. Then he has a Dogmata, 2 units of Dominions with the max amount of Stormbolters, that being 4, 2 units of Sephirum, 2 of each having Hand Flamers, and then 2 units of Retributors, each one with 2 Multi-Melters, 2 Heavy Flamers, and 2 Amorium Cherubs. Rounding this thing out, we have 2 Rhinos and a freaking Battle Sanctum.
Okay, so for everybody at home, you have to explain this Battle Sanctum, because we never see fortifications in tournaments, and one of the great things about this player plays terrain means you can bring fortifications. And tell us about this one, because it is crazy.
Look at it right now. Look where it is right now. Straddled between these 2 home objectives for him, giving him easy ability to string out onto him, obscuring terrain, all this good stuff. It's a big 3-tiered piece of terrain as well. It's a premium piece to bring along. For 85 points, it does a hell of a lot for you. It comes attached with the keywords of breachable, defensible, light cover, obscuring, scalable, and inspiring. That being, it gives +1 leadership if you're within 6 inches of it. It also gives -1 leadership to chaos units within 6 inches of it. And in addition, you can attempt the following action if you have any priest units. And for Lennon's, the only applicable one here would be his Dogmata. But should that unit choose to, at the end of your movement phase, 1 cult Imperialis Priest or Sororitas Infantry unit, so it doesn't have to be a priest, apologies, I spoke out of turn, can perform the following actions, and at the end of your next command, at the end of your turn, apologies, you gain 1 miracle dice. So it's just a miracle dice generator. It's a bunker for all of your defensible stuff, and you just sit around and just freaking give yourself miracle dice every turn. Power your army up. It's phenomenal.
It's 80 points, and I want to point out again, it has obscuring. You just basically even on tables that you don't get to place the terrain, if you have a place to just put a random obscuring piece, that's crazy.
So if you can see what he's doing with it right now, so he has Celestine on the objective above the battle shrine, and Morven Vile on the objective below the battle shrine. Do you know what that means? That means the Sacrosancts are in the battle shrine, obscured, giving bodyguard to both, and neither are targetable. And it's not like this freaking AdMech army or any AdMech army for their mind, bar like some Rise of Bonkers build, is going to bum rush into Morven Vile and try and take that off him.
That's just insane. It means both those aren't getting shot. They're holding that objective, and there's just nothing you can do about it. If you go in there, you got to kill Celestine and Morven Vile, and that's no easy task.
And you got to kill Celestine freaking twice, brother.
Yeah. You got to kill 3 things that are already hard to kill, and we'll kill you back.
Exactly, dude. It's just rough as guts. Just calling what we can see for the rest of the deployment. I was up to the Ballistari. In front of the first unit of Ballistari at the top right of your screen, you can see at least 1 block of 20 guys. I'm suspecting there's another block of 20 guys in there because I can only see 1 other on this table. I'm interested to tell you right now that it looks like the Corpuscari are not inside the transports, and that they're either toting OBSEC models or something else. Well, at least 1 unit of Corpuscari is on the table. You can see them. Oh, no, apologies. I thought I was seeing stars, but they're just Rangers. Damn, those Rangers guns are really long. So, and then in the governing, the dead middle of the center table, there's a unit of 20 guys and another unit of 20 guys, I believe, behind. Looks like we've got some characters here, there, and everywhere. To the left of the centermost unit of Rangers, we do have what looks to be a Manipulist, and then another one directly across from that to the left. It's interesting that I can never tell where the Marshal is, because he just looks like a freaking Ranger. He just looks like a Ranger Sergeant, so he could be anywhere. But to the right of those, we have another unit of 3 Ballistari. But to the bottom right of your screen, you can see his unit of Cerberus Raiders, and right to the bottom you can see his other Dune Strider. I'm interested to know what is inside that Dune Strider. Do we have any insights from Seth?
Looking at it right now, see if he has anything. No, I don't see anything in there. I'm assuming it's got to be the Because there's definitely some models on top of it, but that actually might just be modeled with it. It might be empty.
It could, yeah, absolutely right. It could be empty. It looks like Celestine's moving.
It's Electro Priest. Yes, it is the Electro Priest.
So we're looking at the movement phase for John right now. It looks like Celestine is jumping over to that middle objective. He looks like he's lining up a charge there, or at least a shooting phase. But what's going to be really interesting there is to see what miracle dice John may have. It looks like the green dice is probably going to be his auto 6. Because Evan Chalice Warlock trait gives you an auto 6 on your very first miracle dice. So maybe that's what he's sitting on with his green dice. And I'd say he's got 8 command points for the yellow dice. And then, what is it? A 6, a 5, a 4, a 1, and a 2 for his miracle dice. That means he has at least 1 premium charge in him this turn.
Yeah, and that's actually a big deal to remember for Colin here, because everything that he moves, he needs to keep in mind that the threat range on his anything in close combat is going to be a 12-inch charge, 11-inch charge, and he can just do it whenever he wants. Like he's swimming in the Shark Tank right now, and he needs to make sure that he doesn't cross the red line because he's going to get eaten if he does. But I don't think he has too much that he wants to go too far in them, aside from the Electro Priest, because they can do some work if they get in there, but they want to make sure that John exposes those units that he needs to get rid of. And I think the close combat is what he kind of wants to get rid of, because he does outshoot John.
Yes, absolutely. Colin's army outshoots just about damn everything you got out there, and in spades. But as soon as you cut down on his ability to reach across the table, there's a decent no man's land between these two armies, guys, and there's not a huge incentive to close that gap apart from those other 2 objectives. If you can force, and what John is doing right now, he's going to try and bleed him out and force him to commit his 20-mans onto those middle objectives, and then he's going to have a big investment from there. He's going to shoot his Repentia in, he's going to get his Zephyr going in deep onto those 20-mans, because he doesn't want to shoot them out in any other manner, but apart from when they're going to get him primary and you're going to get him points. Now, John's secondaries are pretty interesting. Stranglehold to the Last and Sacred Grounds. You able to tell people what Sacred Grounds is?
Yeah, let's go over Sacred Grounds, because that's one I actually look up too. I don't see it that often. You usually see the other one. I have it open. I got it. Here we go. So Sacred Grounds is basically it's the sisters version of the Spread the Plague for Death Guard. So it's the same things, raise the banners, but it's just make sure nobody's there, and you get the 3 points at the end of the game, because it cannot be contested after you get it. So it's actually a big deal for a mission like this, where you can pretty easily and confidently get it on 4 objectives.
Exactly right. If you see right now, it looks like a unit of I think it's Repentia have made a charge into the Dune Rider on the right-hand side. I thought those were actually Battle Sisters from the top down, and I could be incorrect, but it looked like Repentia to me.
I think those are Zephyr, because it's only a 5-man.
Exactly right. Well spotted, my man. Yeah, there would of course be Zephyr. Looks like they made their charge quite easily.
Seraphim, not Zephyr.
Really hard to tell. Very hard to tell.
Seraphim Church. Thank you, Table. It is Seraphim. I did it. I can be Adam Camilleri too.
Well done, my brother. You're doing a great job. Can I actually get the notes page sent to me? Send a link to the notes page, because I'm actually not getting that right now either. So we're relying on Dustin. Actually, no, Dustin. That can just be you, brother.
That could be my job. I can do that. So I'll just go over the notes that he's been actually writing like a madman here. So I'll go over what we have here. So John's turn, he got 4 for Sacred Ground and 10 on primary. Dogmana left the Sanctum to tag the lower right objective. So the priest is actually moving over there. The Seraphim dropped down in front of the ruins of the lower right, shooting the AdMech transport, doing 5 wounds, and then they charged the transport and made it, obviously, because we just saw that happen. And it looks like they went back to Morganval shooting. I guess oh, there we go.
Nice.
That's the good sportsmanship you like to see. So John forgot some shooting. Colin's letting him go back and do the shooting. So that's what you like to see, especially at top tables. Like, people think that top tables, they're all jerks. They're not going to let you do stuff like that. You make a mistake, you just get punished for it. But no. See, guys, John forgot some shooting, and Colin was nice enough to let him shoot. So that's what you love to see. I love that. So he went back to Morganval shooting, shot into Rangers' nip left, and killed 4. So there you go. That was some good sportsmanship now. So I guess we're back in the fight phase now. We're just looking to see if these Seraphim can actually finish off the transport there.
Yeah. Question for our stream boss. If you can, well, actually, he's not going to be able to hear me, so never freaking mind. I'll type it to him in the chat. I want to know what's in reserve for John. I really want to know what he's got sitting off the table right now. Looks like we've got a unit of battles. Look like there's a unit of battle sisters in the bottom left-hand corner. And so I don't know. I can't see any Zephs. I can see 1 unit of Zeph from now. So there could be 2 units of Zeph from 2 units of Repentia in reserve, or there could be some Repentia inside the Rhinos. I can only see 1 Rhino because we know the other one got blown up turn 1. So I want to know where the Dominions are and where the Retributors are, because there is a lot of damage. In fact, I'd say like 95% of John's damage has not been activated yet.
Yeah, it's true. He actually still has a lot of his damage left, so he's not putting too much out there. Putting the Seraphim into that transport is not a huge investment for him to take down that transport. It's actually a big deal. Although I will say, opening up the electric priest supply because they're not going to die. Those electric priests are going to do some damage.
Dude, you see what he did? He's spread out. He's actually trapped that Dune Rider against the terrain piece, so he can't be shot off that objective. And the electric priests are going to have to get out forward into the terrain in order to avoid the 1-inch gaps there. But dude, genius play by John, taking that objective away, enforcing that he needs to remove those Seraphim with melee, and that means the electric priests kind of have to stay there. They can't sling in and try and kill Celestine for our first death, because I don't think there's anything else on that side of the board. I think everything is on John's left side of the board or off the table.
Yeah, I think that's where most of the stuff is. It's either off the board or it's down the bottom left, and that is just that's John Lennon for you. Like he knew they wouldn't be able to kill the transport, trapping it in there so it cannot get out, and the guys inside are not going to be able to get on the objective anyway because they're going to have to get out and charge the Seraphim if they want to do that.
Exactly right. So in reserve, he only has 5 Seraphim and 5 Zephyrim. So he's got 5 Zephyrim on the table that we cannot see, and all his Repentia on the table as well. I'm going to assume there's a unit of Repentia in the Rhino then, or there's a unit of Repentia sitting behind the Rhino, and either another one's being picked up, or is another one needs an overhang. Okay, and pretty much everything we haven't been able to see is behind the Sanctum.
Yeah, so the Sanctum is literally hiding everything.
Absolute freaking dividends here, and this is what John wants. John wants to even out the primary 10 to 10 and make Colin have to put stuff on his midboard objectives and then gun him down, smash him down, and bleed him out. Because at the end of the day, like these las cannon chickens get like no return for their points in this game. What are they going to do? Kill 5 Seraphim? Who gives a crap? You know.
They pop rhinos. That's basically what they do because they don't have much other value. Like they'll kill 3 infantry, 4 infantry, but it's they're not going to get the value in here. The only thing they're actually going to be really good for is his secondary because there's no point in committing them, so they're not going to die. And just make sure as long as he gets enough infantry kills, he's going to get those 3 points of return for the eradication of flesh.
So John has pointed out that he didn't know forests were obscuring this game, and so that forest right in the middle of the table, which I believe he said that he may have placed himself, is blocking a lot of his shooting ability. Like he can't get multi-melter shooting out of that ruin, out of the shrine. He can't do a lot of stuff there. Like he can't shoot Morven Val past that into things, because like what Morven Val really wants to do, give herself rerolls and then just shoot 24 missile shots into like a ranger unit, and he can't even do that.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is too with what John's doing.
Oh, sorry, not 24-12. What did I say?
We all knew. We knew what you're talking about. Don't worry. we got your back here. The Seraphim though taking that objective also means that John's going to get stranglehold because Colin doesn't have anything on the top middle objective as you guys are seeing it now. So because of that, he only needs to take 3 objectives. He's going to be holding more than him. It's almost worthwhile for Colin to try to put something on there, but there's so much back there that can just countercharge him. It's just so risky. Like what do you think Colin needs to do in the counterpunch now?
So what Colin needs to do now is, I believe he needs to. Is there a Doctrina or what is it that you can give AdMech units to make it move further? Is that a thing?
Yes, that is a thing.
Or is that only for Scutari? Well,
it's for Scutari, yeah.
Yeah, never mind. What I was really wanting him to do is get those electric priests out and get a really fatty charge and clear out some of the units in that shrine. I don't believe that's possible. The best use he's going to get for him now is to just go and kill Celestine's first death. If they stay where they are right now, he's just going to pop that, and then he's just going to put Celestine in the next turn and pick him up. No problems, no fuss. But what I think he needs to do with is to put the Cerberus Raiders onto that objective and kill off the Seraphim on there. At least if he doesn't want to do that, he can just put a couple on there and deny the 15, because that's all he needs to do. Colin just needs to stop Lennon getting 15, which means the Seraphim need to die.
Yeah, the Seraphim have to die. That's the main thing right now, and it looks like the only way they're going to die is in close combat, and he needs to kick them off there either way, because otherwise you're losing a 15. You can put just something on the other objective just in case the Seraphim, if you can't reliably kill the Seraphim, putting something on the other objective, which it looks like he's probably going to do, then it kind of gives him the chance that he doesn't have to worry about putting too much into them, because he's still going to prevent the 15, but he is exposing himself.
Well, the same problem that is being forced upon Dustin by John can be done vice versa. As long as Colin has the steel in his soul to make the moves and possibly lose some 20-mans, he's got a bunch of dudes in his army. His army is full of stuff. So use your stuff. Just use stuff, man. Don't sit him back in obscuring terrain pieces and get no mileage. Get him up there. If they get up there and die, and you get to kill some more of Lennon's stuff, it's probably worth it at this point of the game.
Yep, I think that's exactly what he's doing. He's making it so he's going to grab that objective, so he's guaranteeing he's not going to give up the 15 this turn, which is exactly what he wants to do. And he's doing the perfect thing of just touching the edge of the objective, which John can still get that charge. He has Miracle Dice, and it's not a problem for him to do. However, because he's on the edge of it, he might actually force some Miracle Dice to be used to make sure he gets the charge off, which not only does it use some of the resources of the Miracle Dice, it's going to use resources of something that he can kill then later on and doesn't have to worry about it. Putting some Repentia in there or something that will kill that 20-man, I think Repentia is one of the few things that actually can deal with it, and using that right now means that Colin doesn't have to worry about it later on. So it's actually a really good trade for him.
Well, a unit of 8 Repentia doesn't kill 20 dudes.
That's the thing. They can, but that's the only thing that really can. But will they? They're not OBSEC.
No, they won't. No, they won't. They won't kill 20 dudes. So I only need one left with that OBSEC, and then you're fine. So this is what I was going to say. What Colin probably is just looking at his army being like, I have so much damage. Oh my god, rah, rah, rah. But he can't use John, especially with characters you can't target. So what he needs to do is look to the other thing he has to leverage over John, which is sheer model wound count. He has so many more wounds available to him than John does. So many more. In fact, if he wanted to be crazy, the thing that he has in his army that is of least value to him are the freaking Ballistari. Put them on objectives, man.
Yeah, that's true. As long as you know you can kill enough infantry to get your to offset it.
You don't put both on the same time.
Don't put both of them. Yeah, you throw away one vehicle at a time, which he does. He has the Doom Strider out there right now, so he's kind of he's not throwing it away, but he's putting it in this position that he can be killed, which could be what he's not going to throw the Ballistari out yet, because John knows this too, and he doesn't want to kill that thing right now. He wants to kill it when he knows he's going to get deny him the points for that.
Exactly right. I think it's a good time to jump back to Sean Nathan's game. We're just getting an update from the table boss. One sec.
Yep.
Fair enough. Just an update from the table boss as well from Mr. the Mad Doc. He's got a 10 on his primary for his turn. Mr. Colin McDade. He's turned on his +1 strength canonical. He's gone for no Doctrina. He's decided no Doctrina this turn. It's just going to be a waste. Ranges in the upper left, moving out of the back of the ruin. Second range unit advances onto the upper left to get the mid left objective, as we can see. We're going to transition over to the Sean Nathan game and Mr. Nathan Fennell and see how things are standing there. If we can get a hit on the transition, please, Booth.
Yeah, see, we're not going to miss anything. We planned this out perfectly. There we go.
Exactly
right. Stuff is still there. Oh, wow.
Yes.
I should fine. Make me eat my words. All right, cool.
This is what I was worried about. Yeah. Exactly what I was worried about has happened. To my mind, I think maybe there's 2 Incubi left. Maybe there's 2, and those are the 2 to the left of screen in the center, above the most bottom left-hand objective, directly above it. Apart from that, man, this board is looking very sparse for the Drukhari. What's going down with the scoreboard? It doesn't look very updated yet, so we might get Richard to put his thumb on the back of their heads and tell them to up their game, these punks.
Well, what he's saying, it looks like it's still bottom of 1, so it's it's still bottom of 1. Sean hasn't finished his turn yet, so there's nothing to score yet. He's still trying to kill all his stuff. We're just getting an update on how many Incubi are left here. Oh, the Incubi weren't in those center ones. The Incubi are still alive. Okay.
Richard, you told us they were in the front.
You lied to us, Richard. You lied to us.
I feel a lot better about this. I feel a lot better about this. I thought all the Incubi were dead.
Okay.
Incubi
you know what?
are the most important
We
things
were really
in the world
worried,
right now.
but now the Incubi, we know the Incubi are still alive in boats. We might still have a game here because he does have some more options. Now, obviously, the OBSEC is getting killed off, but his killing power is still here.
Exactly right. So we can do the same thing to Sean. Sean's just done to him. The Fangmaster doesn't look like he's declared a charge. If these guys are playing that slowly, that they haven't gone to the charge phase yet? Because that would be pretty bad, really.
Well, they had to get a judge to get that one measurement, and it looks like those witches did end up dying anyway. That to get the emergency disembark too, so he had to split his shots up to make sure he didn't have that forward pressure with the witches there. Yeah, I think he just made the charge.
The Fangmaster just made the charge then.
There it is. Okay, we're in the charge phase.
We're catching the last breaths of this turn 1. And so he's lost, what is it? Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? Looks like 5 of his raiders are down. Could even be 6 raiders because he started with 8. I can only see 2. He could have lost 6 Venoms. Apologies, I said raiders. 6 Venoms turn 1 dead. Can you confirm that, Richard?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
6 out of 8. Sean did say he had the right profiles for slapping these guys down, like multiple platforms with D6, strength 6, 2 damage. It's perfect for killing Venoms. But dude, did you see this coming?
Oh, unfortunately I did because he put him out there. Like I said, he moving out the way he did, like I get why he did it because it did set him up for a really powerful turn too, but it gave Sean full control and full power of his entire army for his turn. So he could do exactly what he needed to do. And as long as the dice didn't go like really hard against him, he was able to do it.
Yeah, spot on, my brother.
Look, that's unfortunate.
Lonely Sandbars said pretty clear Sean's going to kill more this turn. For kill more.
Yeah, well, I mean, we might need to count it out. But
so this is a thing. This is the thing we learned in 8th edition RTC games. If you grind them down, don't kill all the easy stuff turn 1, which is exactly what Sean's done. So he might find he doesn't get another grind them down the rest of the game now.
It's true. That was the other thing I was worried about because, as I was saying too, he could either kill everything he needs to do, or just at least make sure he kills the things that need to die. That are going to be a threat to him on turn 2. But he also wants to be careful to still grind them down. But if he takes out Nathan's killing power, he doesn't have to worry about killing too much more because he's not going to lose much in return.
Yeah, exactly right. A couple of interesting things that happened. So the Fang Master did go in, picked up those 4 witches. The witches that disembarked 6 inches to the rightmost objective, they have been picked up as well. But the ones in the top left-hand quarter still standing strong with 2 dudes. Now there was 3 guys there the last time we checked in, and they lost 1 more. So he shot something at him, and whatever he did whiffed big time. And Sean was just like, "Nah, not meant to be. I'm moving on." So, but Sean looks like he's only going to get a 10-point primary. No, he's going to get a 15. He's going to get a 15. Yeah.
Oh, you mean on his turn? Nathan still gets to go first.
Nathan gets to respond. And look, Nathan can find it very easy to clear off these 3 shining spears in combat. Look, and the character, like 1 unit of Incubi takes care of that problem in its entirety. No stress there. But can he afford to stay on his objectives when he needs to clear Sean's lines, get in, tap these things, and slow down all this killing power?
Yeah, and he's not killing too much of his mobility yet because he hasn't had a chance to. The Shining Spears are right up there. The 2 Star Weavers are still full of guys now. That looks like the Troop Master got back into it as well. So he's gonna be able to do the exact same thing he did to the top right objective to any other objective he wants. So wherever Nathan decides to go, it's still going to be a threat to him, and that's a problem for him. And then the other thing is he's going to have to bring down his resources. He can't keep them up in reserve anymore. He needs to bring them down. He needs the damage output, and he needs to bring him in before Sean completely zones at the board and kills him without even firing a shot.
So I just want to take a moment to address something in chat. My man, do you play AOS at all?
I do.
Awesome. What do you think of the 3rd edition?
You mean the 3rd age? It reminds me
it's 3rd edition.
Come on, do the terminology. But the 3rd age feels a lot like 40K, and it's phenomenal. It is. It's phenomenal. What are you feeling about it?
I haven't played AOS since the 1st age, which was first stage, worst stage. But I hear phenomenally good things about the 3rd ed. Classy Badger in chat has just been asking about AOS, whether there's going to be any AOS coverage. Look, Frontline Gaming is really doing a bit of a means test with guys like us with the Ocho. They've given the mandate to Val the Hefferfinger to put on a good show for you guys, bring you guys the coverage, the best possible coverage, the cutting edge technology attached to that coverage to make this a viewable, watchable thing. And if this becomes it, there's no reason we can't spread this love into AOS, pick up some guys with some really deep knowledge of that game. They can be doing the same thing me and Dustin are doing. And hopefully that's something that is happening in the future, because I feel like that game has a lot to showcase, and it's really going to explode soon.
Yeah, it's getting better and better. The 3rd age has been phenomenal for everything I've seen for it, so it could definitely explode the same way. Obviously, 40K is just a little bit more popular right now, but it's going to blow up. It will.
Yeah, for sure. Update from the table boss. What's up?
Update from the table boss. Let's see. So originally they got that. The Electric Priest got out behind the Electric Priest got out, so they did get out behind the lower ruin there.
Yeah, they had to. No other choice.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong game though. We should be updating the game we're watching right now, aren't we?
Oh. I think so. It's Richard. Richard is doing our game 1, and that's who I was talking to. But that's fine. We got Seth the Mad Dog table bossing our game 2. Sorry, Richard, you go. What's up? Yeah, so so Nathan's next turn, I don't want to put all the pressure in the world on him, but it needs to be entirely perfect.
No pressure or anything, but if you make a mistake here, it's over. That's no pressure though. Dude, no pressure.
If he makes the perfect right moves and picks up the right things, this is 100% game on. Public enemy number 1, I believe, and he can do double duty here if he's got the distance, if he's got the movement. Really depends where these units are of Incubi. I don't really think they're positioned to do what they need to do, but if he could get a unit from where I'm assuming there's a unit of Incubi where the Shining Spears are. If they can get out past the Shining Spears, get a nice move, a nice advance, charge the. This is a huge move, by the way, and who knows if he can do it. Charge the 9-man unit of Shadow Spectres, and then with their move, with their charge, tap the Shadow Weavers behind. He can turn off like a huge chunk of the killing power. He probably kills the Shadow Spectres. It probably kills the Shadow Spectres. And the crazy thing, if he add it, I don't think he can do it. I honestly don't think he has to move, and he need like a 5 or 6 on the advance if he wants to bet on that. But the thing is, he doesn't have to bet on it. Those guys are going to have to come out now anyway, because if they don't come out now, they're going to die for nothing. So literally everything he's got needs to come out, needs to go straight to the throat. I think the right side of the table for Nathan is kind of gone. I don't want to say it. And for us right now, that's the bottom part of the table is kind of gone for him. He has no influence there. He has no units there. Everything he has is at the top of the table, but the stuff he has is potent, and he needs to use it appropriately.
Yeah, he's got to use all every resource he has left, and he needs to use it perfectly. Now, it looks. I don't think he can make that big of a charge. Like at most, getting out the 3, moving, even if he gets a 6-inch 14. I guess he could, but the thing is too, they have the Overwatch because they're touching that terrain, so they'll be able to Overwatch with the Flamers, and Incubi don't like that.
Yeah, exactly right. We've had some people. I had a gentleman talk about how he was a salty neckbeard when Fantasy died, and now he's found some love for AOS despite of that. That's me. I'm still so salty, and I can't seem to reconcile. But guess what? Old World's coming back.
I'm so excited about that.
So many. I'm gonna lose. I might when that comes out, guys. Yep. So if Advanced Roll's coming out now, he rolled the 1. CP. Did you CP, man? You got a freaking CP.
You got to CP that.
You do. You can't not. It's tragic. He's doing it. Come on. It's down to 5.
There we
go.
Pop
a 6, brother. Pop a 6. You got it in you. But yeah, literally. What?
Oh, he popped the CP to auto advance.
I popped the CP to auto advance 6. Clever sausage. I completely forgot I had that, by the way. But that is, where are those models coming from? Did he deep strike a raider at the back of the board and then deep strike after deploying?
Oh, so that Raider's probably always been there then. He probably didn't deep strike that.
Yeah, it's possible that Raider's always been there.
You
Beautiful. Richard's walking. You can see Richard doing a sneak at the back. That's so good. I love it. But yeah, it's interesting he used that there. I thought he would definitely try and use that for an aggressive move rather than a defensive one. Rather than one to just to get him points. But yeah, when Old World comes out, you might just see me like disappear off like all streams and podcasts for like 3 months. And then I'll reemerge with like a bushy beard in like just the happiest man on earth.
Yeah, I could see that. I've never actually changed a lot of my older Wood Elf models to round bases. They're all still on square bases. So obviously I was kind of waiting for that to happen and hoping it would happen. So I'm excited for it too.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. They've announced their work. So the Forge World dev team is working on the Old World game. They're going to bring back. We're not sure what it looks like. They've told us it's going to be on square bases. It's going to be the same. You're going to be able to use your old faction. It's going to be on the same size, the same scale as the new stuff, and it's going to be fully supported. And it's going to come out in a couple of years. Probably still 2 years away.
Here come the Scourges. The Scourges are coming. They have not been forgotten. He knows he needs them. Here they come. Where are they going to go?
He needs them. There's a lot of options here for him. If that Fangmaster hadn't jumped back into the boat, I'd say use them to kill the Fangmaster. But there are and drop onto the rightmost, the rightmost objective. Drop down there, shoot that Fangmaster, get that prick off the table. But as it is, I've got no idea where they're going to go. That's going to get a lot of value.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on the table that just are either in cover, so they're going to get a 2-up save, or they're just not worth shooting at. If you go too close, because I think the Farseer there is close enough to the Shadow Spectres that if he drops in them, then he could potentially forewarning them. But as Sean said, he spent a lot of CP on that Fangmaster, so maybe he doesn't have the CP to do that. He wants to use it for other things.
Well, yeah, he just spent like 5 CP on that Fangmaster this turn, didn't he?
Yep, he did.
It's crazy, man. Crazy, man. But that's the thing. The rest of his army doesn't need that many. Sean only has 3 CP left. How many? So I think there's 5 left for Nathan. Yeah, we can see that clear.
Looks like that's 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
5. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Everyone, close your eyes, and just imagine for a minute that you're Nathan. Okay, Dustin. What do they have to do? What do you have to do, man?
Okay. See, I definitely have played Drukhari. I have to channel my inner Scary here. Now, he needs to do enough damage. Luckily, he still has those 2 Venoms on the left-hand side, so he can actually turn off a lot of his shooting this turn, which is going to be a big deal to do that. And it might be worth it. He might not be able to get the charge off on the Shadow Specters with like the Incubi to actually kill them, but moving a Venom in there to at least shut off their shooting for turn or force him to spend the CP to get them to shoot at least turns off a lot of his kill power. And if he can kill or deal with that and make sure he can get another turn, he might actually be able to pull something out. Now, the two Venoms are the big thing right now.
I think we got two Succubi on the board. I don't know what one could be a Succubus, one could be an Archon, but it looks like we've rolled some advanced rolls for them. Looks like we've got one Succubus flipping all the way down to the bottom right hand corner. The other one, which I believe is the one with the Shardnet and Impaler, is going down, or is the one with the Razor Flowers going down to the left hand one. And looks like we could get some character mileage here for Nathan. These characters are extremely killy. They have all the ability in the world to take out some of these things. But looks like he's just going to go and try and take that bottom right hand objective off Sean, which is a very good play if he can do it. It's unfortunate that he can't charge the Shadow Specters and do that play, but honestly, he shouldn't charge a Shadow Spectre because I think he just dies to the Overwatch. Well, they just go D6 shots each, baby, and blow him up.
I think the play for him, move one of those Venoms over there and charge the Shadow Spectres first to eat any Overwatch, and then go in with Succubus, because the Succubus can't pick them up. If that is, especially that's a Triptych Whip one. The Triptych Whip one will eat them.
Yeah, spot on. Well, he's got the Triptych Whip, he's got the Razor Flat, and has he just got a Shardnet and Impaler one? I'm just going to quickly have a look, mate. Give us your call. What's he up to now?
It looks like he's measuring another. Maybe he's getting an advanced. He's looking at where the Venom can go. That's what it looks like. That's a long movement. So he has one thing you got to remember with the Drukhari is that their characters are still really good, especially against a list like Sean's, because it's MSU and a lot of little things that these characters could really put some hurt on. So if he plays the characters right, he can do enough damage, tie enough stuff up, especially with the Shardnet. If he puts the Shardnet into the right thing and prevents it from shooting and getting shot at, that's going to make a big swing for him.
Well, the only thing that's going to be able to kill that Succubus out if he gets locked into combat will be the Shining Spears. So maybe that's where his investment needs to go. Pop the Shining Spears so they can't come back, dig out the Succubus, and then she can go to work and just do a bit of a run through his backlines.
Yeah, so I mean, like, because he doesn't have any Warlocks, so he's not going to have a Protect on them. It means the best they're going to have is the 3-up save, maybe, against the Poison. So the Poison might be the way to go. The Splinter Cannons can actually do some damage to those Shining Spears.
For sure, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I think they're probably with the toting around the Archon as well. Sorry, not the what's the what's the Archon equivalent for Eldar? God damn it.
The Archon equivalent for Eldar? You mean the Farseer or the Autarch?
The Autarch. But it looks like the Shining Spears have the Autarch toting around with him as well. So he does kind of need to account for that guy, because that guy is a bit of a bastard. And Sean uses him to go around, tap things, kill smaller units, just be a really, really harassing model. Looks like the Farseer would be the one to the left of the Night Spinner, I would assume. And he's back there throwing out Dooms, throwing out Jinxes and things like that ilk. That could also be the Autarch giving reroll ones as well. So I don't want to speak too harshly, but I think the Autarch would be way better up the board here, because he can almost kill a Venom by himself.
Yeah, he can actually make a lot of plays with the Autarch itself. Since it's so fast, and it can, like you said, it can pick up a Venom in close combat pretty much no problem with the weapon that he has, because he has Laser Lance, and that's just what he does. But it's really going to come down to how Nathan can use his characters right now, because it looks like they're doing some really, really precise measurements to see what the charges are going to be and what he can do with them.
Exactly right. Looks like that character that was going to go forward has instead gone to the left, maybe possibly going into the Shining Spears instead of going deep into Nathan's lines. Unless that's arriving from Deep Strike, in which case I'd be quite worried. I don't know what Sean's measuring right now, but whenever Sean's got the tape measure in hands, I'm just like, yeah, worry. Concern building.
Yeah, he's planning something. He's planning something.
Well, I'm happy to say Nathan needs to have a perfect turn, and he's taking the time he needs to have a perfect turn. Richard, when you get a chance, mate, I'd love to get an update on the clock, see what these guys have got left remaining, because we know Sean had a ridiculously long turn one.
It's going to be important for him to do this right, and I'm glad that he's not being pressured by the clock right now, because this is a pivotal turn for him. He needs to take his time. Like, don't ignore the clock for a little while. You have time, especially for something like this, because if you do it right, you won't need more time later on.
I think we get an update from Richard. One sec.
What are yellow jerseys?
They're the judges.
Oh. Oh, okay, so 33 minutes each. So it's still even then. They're still going at the same time. So that's good to see then.
Well, it's only because That's only because Nathan's had like a 8-minute movement phase this turn already.
Listen,
it was
give him
probably
the credit where the
truly
credit's due, okay? He needs to take his time now. If he goes down to 20 minutes, he's fine.
Yeah, we're going to transition now. We're going to jump over to Lennon's game. You all complain. You all say, "Oh, why can't we see Nathan?" Nothing's happening, guys.
Nothing,
Jeez,
yeah, we got to wait. We got to wait.
Complaining about.
We need to see what's going on over there.
Exactly. You want a damn fine shot Nathan meal. It only comes at the end of turn 5.
There we go. Oh, is that Rhino gone? Is it dead?
Yeah,
Scouring like coming out. Okay. See, now we have a lot of stuff to talk about now. This is
absolutely
stuff is happening. So let's go over what the table boss is saying here.
So maybe he listened to me and decided and knew that the Ballistari had to get out, had to get relevant, because they're not going to do much. You might as well sit them on objectives and make Lennon try and have to kill him. I'm quite curious what happened with that Doomstrider. If that Doomstrider is still alive, that means he did a desperate breakout. He pumped 2 CP.
I think we actually the Raiders on the right there, they died according to the table boss earlier on. So I think that's a dead pile on the right hand side there. I think both the Doomstrider and the Raiders are dead. So those aren't actually on the table anymore.
All right. So quick rundown of the turn 3 for the Admech. So yeah, we know he got the 10 on primary. He's got the +1 strength canonical as well. Electro Priest got out behind cover. Iron Striders moved up to midfield. Rangers moved from behind upper right ruin onto upper right objective. He used Desperate Breakout. He did use Desperate Breakout. Iron Striders killed the Rhino in John's bottom left. John loses 4 Dominions from Emergence and Disembark, and the Retributors are fine. That sucks. Vanguard used Enriched Rounds on the Seraphim, and he's got 1 left. John modifies 1 roll with a Miracle Dice, leaving 1 Seraphim alive. There you go. So he's got 1 Seraphim left on that unit. Is he out of shooting? I really want to know. Has he got any more shooting to put into that unit? If that guy lives, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that is actually a big deal. So the Doomstrider is still alive then. So it used the Desperate Breakout. It got out, didn't die on the 1, I guess. We got something, an update for the table boss here.
Yeah, look, this is quite spicy. I think Lennon might be up against it now. This is looking pretty rough. And this is what I thought Colin needed to do. Just get into the midboard with strength. Don't go in piecemeal and bleed yourself out, and let Lennon use the majority of his units to their best ability. Because what John wants to do, he wants to post up, let you move on to the objectives, and then explode out with Repentia and Zephyrum, and then just kill everything, bleed you out, let you lose out on that advantage, all the advantages you have in shooting, in manpower, by doing surgical strikes. And he was playing into that in the first turn or 2, but now he's just realized, bam, I just flood the mid now, win the primary, win the game.
This is exactly what he needs to do.
We know John's going second as well, so the likelihood of him getting a 15 at the end of the game is pretty significant. But the thing is, though, John's OBSEC he's got 1 unit of Battle Sisters. So if like turn 5 comes around and Colin's just got like 3 units of 20 guys on 3 objectives, Lennon's ability to get a 15 is like really freaking low. Which strat are we talking about, by the way, Richard?
So we're just getting an update from the table boss here. There is a discussion going on about something will happen with the Seraphim.
So yeah, it looks like he's got 1 left. That Seraphim looks like they just had a handshake as well. He's picked up an agreement. Yeah, they've made an agreement between themselves. That wasn't a concession. John Lennon is never going to concede. Colin McDade is never going to concede. Yeah, I think there was a discussion about the alteration of the dice with the Miracle Dice, and John just decided to pick up that instead of having a further. It'd be interesting to know what happened there, what the disagreement was. It seems pretty dry from what the.
We've got an update from the table boss. He's kind of explained it here. It looks like. It sounds like John just asked if there's anything else that could kill the Seraphim before he used the Miracle Dice, and Colin said no. But then there was a Mortal Wound strat that he forgot about. So they're just discussing it now, and it sounds like maybe he's giving the Miracle Dice back or the CP back, so he can. Yeah, it looks like he gave the CP back to John because he wasn't clear about that.
So yeah, it just seems like John was going to use enough CP. Like it's probably going to pop a CP and a couple of Miracle Dice to save that Seraphim, under the impression that there was no more shooting to be allocated by Colin. But then after he did that, Colin told him that he did in fact have more shooting, and Lennon was like, wait a minute, I just spent all these resources to keep it alive, and you're telling me you're going to kill it anyway? I want my resources back. Seems to be that's the agreement, and John's just decided to pick up the Seraphim.
Yep, that looks like that's what they shook hands on. He got his CP back, so we're good to go. We are continuing the turn now.
Yeah, no problems at all. Look, maybe Colin was okay with there being a Seraphim there because he got to charge the Ballistari onto that objective and hold and zone that one off, giving John a lot of work to do in his turn. Like you have to kill has to kill 3 Ballistari, has to kill 20 Rangers at the top, and then when the Ballistari go, he just gets put another unit of 20, possibly 2 units of 20 back onto it. So yeah, craziness.
Yeah, no, I think you're actually right on that. I think it would have been beneficial to him to actually keep that Seraphim alive to charge with that, for sure.
Exactly right. Looking on the clocks as well, we've got 35 minutes to the AdMech player, Mr. Colin McDade. It looks like we've got 38 on the clock for John. Looks like we've got a huge amount of dice being rolled up, possibly half of a Ranger unit being done in 2 lots. Either that or there's something on the right-hand side that the electric priests have charged into. We're not actually able to see the right couple of inches. We get an update from Richard. Is there anything over there? No problems whatsoever. Richard's just doing some tweaking with the cameras. He'll be with us shortly. Look, the score is really close, like 30 to 39. This could swing either way, and we've got to keep in mind that To the Last for John is still active, and I think those To the Last will be Morvenn Vahl, will be Celestine, and I want to say the Sacrosancts are the third one, but I'm just going to double check his list. You want to pick up the call for a minute, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just looking at the fight shooting he's going into now. I think he's got some line of sight into something at the back there with the Rangers. I don't think there's anything in the back that he can charge with not the Ballistari, the Electro Priest down there. It looks like everything's kind of killed down there now. So he's just trying to make sure that he's going to be able to hold the center and be able to take that objective and force John to have to make a move in order to prevent the 15 on Colin's side, which is unfortunate that he couldn't get on that objective though.
Exactly right. And I've just got the To the Last. And no one ever accused John Lennon of not being a savvy, clever boy. So he's To the Last, of course, Morvenn Vahl, Celestine. And now you would think, looking at this list, that's probably going to be a unit of Retributors at 130 points. But his unit of 9 Sacrosancts, 131 points.
Oh, that's dirty.
Clever sausage.
Oh, clever sausage.
So that's pretty much 15 points in the bank. If John doesn't want to lose any of those points, that's 15 points in the bank. And right now, that means John's on 45 effective points to Colin's 39 without having John's next turn. If anything is going to win this game, it's going to be the fact that John is going to work his ass off to get a 15 at the end of the game, and he's going to get 15. So it's going to possibly a 30-point swing on his final tally.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Looks like we're going to get a transition back to the Sean Naden table and the Nathan Fennell table, because I think the crux of this game is about to unfold, and we don't want to miss it. Seeing as I expect this one to be like not even halfway done.
Yeah, this one's not even close to being done. We got to see what Nathan can do here against Sean.
So it looks like, look at those 18-inch move Venoms. One of them's gone deep into his opponent's lines. He's going to try and tap those Shadow Spectres with it. And, they do have a strat to fall back and shoot. But with only 3 CP left for Sean, he's going to have to give up all his ability to do any jank with his Harlequins in order to shoot after he falls back with them. In addition, maybe he did decide to light up that Succubus charge in there. And that Venom is literally just there so that guy gets to fight and doesn't die to Overwatch.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought he should do for sure.
And correction, Sean only has 2 CP left. He did do a lightning fast in a phase. So another Venom has gone deep into his lines onto the bottom left-hand corner. Looks like he's going for the unit of 5 Shadow Spectres, but I'm not sure what's below that. What do you reckon is below there?
That is definitely Dark Reapers.
Yeah. Shadow Spectres on the top and Dark Reapers on the bottom. So he's going to tap those guys, shut them down. And look, he's got another Venom that looks like it's investing upon, and a unit of Incubi going into the Shining Spears. We knew that was going to have to happen. Another Incubi going into what does look like... Am I tripping? Or are those Shadow Spectres as well? What is on the left-hand side of the table?
Those are the Shadow Spectres. Yeah, that was the 5-man that was down in the bottom left corner. So that is also exactly Shadow Spectres. He might be able to clear out the Shadow Spectres for that side. And then depending where the other Succubus go, I can't. Is it going down there to make sure it's going to attack those Shadow Spectres?
Yeah, well, one of them went down there for sure. I can see one right now just in front of the Venom inside that ruin, just to the left of the guys on the top. You can see a little snow-based lad in there, or ladette, depending if it's a Succubus or an Archon. And that model is going to go in there, wreak some havoc, pick up some Tempest Launcher goodness, and whatever else is going to get tapped by the Venom. In the top right-hand corner, I do see another snow base up there. So that Succubus might have gone into his back lines in order to hold down that objective and possibly, hopefully, maybe not give him the 25. And yes, exactly what I thought happened. The Venom was there just to stop the Overwatch from the Shadow Spectres. He has another character that has gone into the right-hand side of that big squad. And look, this is what we thought might happen. If Nathan took the time, and he took a lot of time off his clock, but he's had a very good turn so far. He's made all the right plays that I can see.
He took the time, and he's actually doing exactly what we needed to do. We called it. We know what we're doing. We're good at this game, Adam. We can absolutely say that now. We know exactly what he needed to do, and he listened. We channeled it for him. He knows what he needs to do. He's trying his best to make this game. He's gonna make this a game for sure.
Lift, Nathan, lift!
Nathan!
He's hooked up the nos because he's going for the throat. So yeah, 2 units of Incubi has been disgorged onto the left-hand objective, trying to pick up what believes to be a unit of Shining Spears, an Archon, and a unit of 5 Shadow Spectres. Look, they should all die. They should legitimately all die.
They absolutely
Maybe the Archon not, depending on which way he goes. If he needs all 5 Incubi to kill the Shadow Spectres, which he almost certainly doesn't. But if he does split the wrong way on that, he might get an over and under on the Archon. But just tapping that guy is probably a good idea. You don't want him to be falling back and causing you a nuisance in your back lines, which I assume is where he's going to go. In addition, I still don't know where the Scourge are. No idea. Yeah, they're probably somewhere.
Oh, they're
could be anywhere.
Top right. There they are.
Beautiful. Love your work. And then, he's got a Venom tab. He's got 2 Venoms going deep into Sean's lines. Now, this is what Sean was really worried about. Look, if Nathan had a bit more of a conservative turn 1, Nathan could be doing this with twice the amount of resources he's doing with it now. And guess what? The little bit he's doing right now is actually going to take a huge pound of flesh away from Sean.
It absolutely will too. He needs to be careful with the first one he attacks with as well, because Sean does have the 2 CP to interrupt it in the right place. I don't think there's anything that he can really interrupt with to make any really big plays, and he's going to need that.
The only thing is whether Sean would pop the 2 CP to interrupt with the Shining Spears.
That's the only place that's really worth it. So, I mean, you kind of have to go with those Incubi first. But if he rolled enough to make them fight last, he doesn't need to worry about it.
Exactly right. We're not quite sure what's happened there either. And look, the scores are really close, guys. But mind you, we've only had Sean's turn 1, but we've had Nathan's turn 2 scoring for primary already. And, he's only up by 1 point.
Yeah, but he can clear enough out and keep the primary really close. The only place, because I think if that's actually a character in the top right for him, he's already contesting that objective from Sean.
Exactly.
So he might be able to completely clear him off of everything else if he can kill those Shining Spears and whatever's going on in the bottom left corner too. It goes well for him.
If I had to assume what that character is, I think it's his Archon, because every other character in his army would hella love to charge anything in Sean's army. That looks like the only one that hasn't made a charge, which makes you think it's just his Archon. It's just going to stand there, be annoying, and see how long that Shadow Field can hold up.
Yeah, the Shadow Field, I can speak from experience, it is a nightmare. My record against Scouring is 67 Shadow Field saves successful before I finally got one through. 67! We have now reset this up to 3.
Jesus. Oh, wow. That's yuck. Can we get when Richard gets another chance, we'd love a clock update in the chat, apparently, and we will try and get that for you. Man, Nathan, you're a baller. I love you because you're making this a game, and that's what we want to see on these top tables. This is the final round, essentially, before the finals, and it's so he's rolling his Succubus, we're just hearing. It looks like it's going to be either a Succubus into Dark Reapers or a Succubus into the Shadow Spectres. Looks like we've already seen one Shadow Spectre picked up, which makes me think that the Shining Spears are all fighting last, and that he had activated a Venom first, which is fun.
Yeah, to make sure that he would actually, because he knows it wouldn't kill too many more with the Venom, so the Succubus will still be able to get its attacks in.
Looks like a unit of Shadow Spectres on the left-hand side. The 5-man has been picked up wholesale by the Incubi. So I don't think he's put any significant attacks, any Incubi attacks into the Archon. He's just stayed away from it, tapped it with a Venom. I think that's probably a pretty good call. If you didn't want to risk dividing your attacks too much, I think that's a way better option.
Yeah, definitely. I think they must. I think I did see the 2 dice being rolled for the Incubi making the Shining Spears fight last. So Nathan does kind of have confirmed. So Nathan does have kind of free reign of where he wants to fight and make sure he's doing it in the right order at the right time, so things can still attack and get the full value of everything he wants to fight with.
Exactly right. Incubi, I've just been updated. Incubi did clear out over there. And if he has been in fight last, this is all on his terms. I want to see how many of these Shadow Spectres go down. I'd be very reluctant to. I think he wants to have like 2 or 3 left. Because do all Succubuses do the same as Witches?
In terms of
Deny the Wrath, or do you have to have a Shardnet to do that?
I don't think.
That's all right. I'm going to scroll down and have a gaze. No Escape, they do.
They do, yeah, for sure.
Of this model fallback. So yeah, he just wants to have one Shadow Spectre alive, and then he can lock them up, stop them from falling back, and then man, Sean's in a bad way.
Well, he does need to make sure that he's relying on that roll, but it's exactly what he wants to do, because if he can lock those Shadow Spectres up and keep the Venom in with them too, so they're just going to be stuck in there with him, and that's not where Sean wants to be.
Oh, that, yeah. Sorry, the The Archon actually, the Autarch actually had a character going into him. If you can just see to the left of where that Archon was, there is a 25 mil snow base, which was sitting directly under the model, which we could not see at all because it camos into that board and magnificently. But that Autarch has been picked up.
Oh, the Autarch went down. Okay,
this is looking good.
He's making this a game. He's doing it.
So here's the issue. Yeah, right now this looks really good. This looks really, really good for Nathan pulling this back. And then I just remembered the two full boats of Harlequins with fusions and a Fangmaster.
Yeah,
they're still so. But they're too far away from the Incubi, which I love. I love the fact the Incubi are on the left-hand side now, because if they were going into the middle, into the bottom, those Harlequins just come in, clear them out, back to the same status quo, except both of them just have a few less resources. As it is right now, the Harlequins are too far away to make it into those Incubi, so the Incubi do get to live for another turn, and they're sitting in terrain. One of them is, at least. I would love to have seen if he made the charge move with the other one and got into terrain, because having a 2+ save against all these no-range shots would have been a really big deal. It also really depends on how many Reaper units he loses or get tapped. It doesn't look like he's done any more attacks. This is it. There we go. We got the unit going into the Shadow Spectres. I'm really keen to see how many die here.
Be important, but don't forget too, those Incubi aren't completely safe. That Troopmaster can get out of the transport after it moves.
Exactly right. Can he? It costs CP. Yeah, it's 2 left. How much does that cost? Oh, sweet Jesus!
He can do that. Those Incubi might still be dead.
Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I forgot he could do that. I thought he needed CP to do that for some reason, but he needs CP to get back in, doesn't he?
He needs CP to get back in.
Yeah. So that's what he does. He moves to 16 inches or whatever, gets out 3 with the Troop Master, and just smashes something on the left hand side of the board. Probably, actually. Does he though? He probably wants to divert attention. He probably wants to divert attention away from his side of the table. So he probably puts that Fangmaster up on the top left hand corner objective.
Yeah, I don't even think he needs to use them. He needs to use them at the right time against the right target right now. Right now, the guns, like just the shuriken cannons on the Star Weavers themselves, are going to bring a lot of value in that top left objective to try to clear off some of the witches if he wants to try to do that and kill the Incubi that are on top of that. I think it's Incubi. Or those?
So this is actually really interesting. So whatever character he put into the Shadow Spectres had a big old flub, because literally 2 of them have been picked up from that unit. And what has happened, with his consolidate roll, he's tagged the bottom right-hand objective.
Yeah.
So that means we have, 1, 2... So that just guarantees a 10-point primary for Sean, which without that bottom right-hand objective is actually going to be a 5-point primary.
Yeah, that was actually a big deal. I think Nathan was hoping and expecting to do a lot more damage to that squad, and it looks like it's too many survived, and now Sean was able to take that objective back.
Big old flubby wub. We got to get a time. We got to get a clock, chess clock update, please, Mr. Richard. Wonderful. Ooh, interesting. This is only turn 2, guys. So that's 29 minutes left for Sean Nathan, 18 minutes left for Nathan Fennell. But the thing is, though, Nathan's got half his army now. He's probably going to have a quarter of his army after this turn. So, this is going to speed up. I expect him to get 2 more turns, but I wouldn't be surprised if this one ends on turn 4, unfortunately. You want to give us a score update? Nathan's just updated his score. What do you see there?
Go back. There we go. Okay. All right. So it looks like Nathan's got 5 on primary. He got 5 on engagement up front because he is in every single corner now. And he has 4 on his Octarius data. So the Scourge up in the top right did get his points for Octarius data now. Now he does have the option to score another 4 on that. I'm not going to say easily. Depends on how good the shooting goes for Sean right now, because he does still have a lot of out of line of sight shooting to go. He has all the Shadow Weavers. I don't believe they've been tagged, and he has the Night Spinner too. The Dark Reapers, I believe, are all tagged in combat right now. So he still has an option to get. I think he'll be able to get an 8 on that. Maybe not a 12. It depends on how well Sean's turn goes. But he did make some points back there. Now, the 2 to the last, all that's still alive. He did not bring in the Raider, unless it's already on the table. Correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, but I think that one is actually in Deep Strike, unless I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Richard? Oh.
Yeah, both Raiders are still off the table. What was he saying about the disembark from that?
Yeah, you said somebody was disembarking from the top left out of a Raider.
Get it together, Richard. What is this?
Richard!
Get it together, man. Let's transition back over to the Lennon game. Looks like we're going to go into the movement phase for Mr. Nathan.
Let's go over there while Richard gets this together.
Yeah.
We love you. We love you.
We do. We love you. So this should be into Lennon's turn 3. Sorry. Well, actually, it's bottom of 2, I think, for Lennon.
Bottom of 2. Oh, it's that early too. Eh? So this is actually the move that Colin wants to make. So he needs to survive, and I think John really needs to make the hit back now. It looks like something's coming up. Those are Retributors.
Oh, he's dumping a lot out now. That looks like both units of Retributors coming out from the Rhino. It could be a unit of Dominion and a unit of Retributors, and I'm looking as close as I can at these models, and I can't see anything. I'm actually gonna guess that it's one of each. It's a unit of Retributors and it's a unit of Dominions. Because you know what he wants to do? He wants to double pop his Mortal Wound strat and clear off all those Vanguard and Rangers in the middle. So just to encapsulate, so he has this Ebon Chalice detachment. Half his army is Ebon Chalice, half is Bloody Rose. And of course, Bloody Rose gets all the aggressive stuff, the Zephyrum, the Repentia. But he has two units of Dominions, 2 units of Retributors, and each Retributor squad has 2 Cherubs, 2 Heavy Flamers, 2 Multi-Melters. Now it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with those, because he has 2 Mortal Wound strats in essence. One for the Blessed Bolts off the Dominions, and which can do I think, is it 4 mortal wounds or is it 6 mortal wounds? I think it's 6 mortal wounds.
I think it's 6, yeah.
Yeah, and then he can do 3 mortal wounds off the Flamer strat, which they get for 1 CP. They get plus 4 inch range, and then every 4+ to wound is a mortal wound, up to 3 mortal wounds. So he can just dump 9 mortals wherever he likes. And in addition to the multi-melters, he has good odds of popping 2. He could pop all 3 of those Ballistari in one turn if he likes, or dump a hell of a lot, a hellacious amount of mortal wounds and fire into that 20-man.
Yeah, he needs to do a lot of damage to this right now too. But he also does have Stranglehold too, so he wants to make sure that he's trying to get that, because that's another secondary that he's not going to be able to get points back on. And I think he needs to do it to try to keep it close in secondaries with Collins, because Collins doing well with the secondaries right now, like really well. So John's going to have to do what he can to keep it straight. Now, is it more worthwhile to kill the guys on the left hand side, or is it more important to kill the guys in the center, do you think?
I think it's more important to keep the center clear. I think the left-hand side needs to go to things like Repentia, and you can do that later. You want to keep your lines of fire open, and the left-hand side is a lot harder to shoot on than the right-hand side, I believe. Now, we had an update from the table boss during this game. John got a 10 at the start of his turn on primary. He got 4 more for Sacred Ground in addition. His Seraphim and Zephyrim had to drop down. I assume that means this is turn 3, because I do see their scoreline now, and I believe this is turn 3, the bottom of turn 3. Colin was asked if he wanted to Auspex scan. He said not yet. Then at the end of the reserve phase, he Auspex scanned the Seraphim dead and wiped out that 5-man. So there is a unit of Zephyrim somewhere on the board, which we'll try and make at a moment. Can we get the full screen view, please? Just want to try and see where these resources are allocated. Thank you. Look how prompt these boys are. They're on the freaking money.
Wow, this is on point, guys.
Absolutely. I'm interested to know that John has got less time on his clock than Colin as well. You would have thought it'd be the other way around.
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. Maybe it was because of the Miracle Dice fiasco that it was on his clock during that time, so it probably just cost him a little bit of time. But it's not a big deal. John's a good player. He's not going to let that get to him. He has more than enough time to do everything he needs to do in this game still.
Absolutely. And you can see this scoreline is extremely close. And in all intents and purposes, John's up by 11 points because of his to the last, which he hasn't lost any of yet.
Do not forget that to the last, guys, because that's 15 points right now. That's going to be really hard for Colin to get to. He has to be really aggressive to get it.
What John wants to have happen right now is for this primary to stay the same. Keep Colin to only 10s. Don't let him get a single 15, because John is betting on getting 10, 10, 10, 15 last turn of game. And what he wants to do is have to the last and the 5-man swing, kill it off. Now, I don't know what just happened there, but that unit just got picked up. So it's possible that we have left the turn 3 and we're into the turn for Colin, which doesn't make sense. That no shooting got allocated.
Or was that a little bit lag behind? That was the Auspex right there? Is that what that was?
That could have been Auspex scan there. I'm a little bit confused. Sorry, someone just gave me a compliment in chat, and I don't know. I didn't catch what the issue was, but hopefully it was. Apparently I was correct. Who cares? Sounds good to me, son. But yeah, John lost that unit over there, and I really have no idea how he did.
Yeah, what was that? It had to have been the Auspex, right? Because it's still John's turn.
For sure, it's still John's turn. Whose turn is it now? I don't have editing access on the document. Never mind.
Request edit access.
I already did. I did it like 20 minutes ago. But it's all good. All good in this hood. But yeah, dude, honestly, John might be in trouble now because it looks like he's bleeding out. But in all reality, John only needs 2 units in order to make this swing happen at the end of the game. But what he doesn't want to see happen is what I said before. Come turn 5, there's still, Collins still has the ability to put, 20 OBSEC bodies on each of these mid-board objectives and deny the 15, in which case I think Collins are going to win.
Yeah, he actually does have a lot of resources left, and I think he still has Solar Flare, I'm assuming, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm assuming he hasn't used his Solar Flare. I haven't seen a significant redeploy from him whatsoever. Now, I do have to say, I think we're just in Collins' turn. I think we had a super quick turn by John, and where not a lot happened, and that would be why he's down on the clock right now. But as you can see, he's deploying out what looks to be his unit of 5 infiltrators, which look to be they're coming in off the board edge, because we know that tank that they look to be deploying from was dead turn 1. So they're coming in off the board edge. They're going to do some Octaria's goodness, or possibly see if he's done the extra charge, possibly see if they make a charge somewhere into the building.
Yeah, definitely. If there's something in there, I know there's some. I think there's some either Seraphim or Zephyr in the bottom left. I think on John's side, just barely see the bases there.
We have just had John hit pause on the chess clock.
Oh,
which makes me think we should go to Sean's game for a couple of minutes. If something's going down,
let's switch back over to Sean's
Let's switch.
There's no discussion going on here.
Yeah, I'm just going to check the chat. Retributors picked up the left transport. Apologies. So Retributors have killed that transport on the left, which has disgorged the infiltrators.
Oh, so it is still John's
It was still alive. It did just get popped. There we go. Morrisoli in the chat, Matt Morrisoli has asked, are the While We Stand units still alive for John? Yes, they are. All 3 are still alive, that being the Sacrosanct, Morven Val, and Celestine, because he's a savvy lad. And in all likelihood, he's going to get those points either way. If he looks like he's going down, he's just going to run those guys into the shrine and just be like, well, if I'm going down, I'm going to get a big score and guarantee I make the finals.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big... even if he loses this game, if he gets enough points, he's still going to make it in the top 8. And that's all he wants right now. He doesn't have to win this game. He just needs to get enough points in it. And because of that, to the last is going to be able to guarantee him almost another 15, it's going to be a big deal. And that 80-point fortification is gonna do it for him.
Yeah. So we've just had a judge called on the game, and the judge has seen that the chess clock is poured for this dispute. There's been some talk of angle shooting. Do you know what angle shooting is, Dustin?
I'm not 100% familiar with it. I'm assuming it's just...
We'll let someone in the chat explain it. We can start calling Mr. Nathan's game and move on to more positive things and let that resolve itself. Can we get a switch over to Mr. Nathan's game, please, and we can just let this one take its course for a couple of minutes.
The clock is still paused over there, guys. Just they're switching it back and forth, but it's still paused.
Oof. Oof. All right. Looks like we are into Sean's movement phase. Still in Sean's movement phase. So we left for 5 minutes at the start of Sean's movement phase. We come back 5 minutes later. Sean's movement phase continues. That Fangmaster has jumped out once again. Called it. Top left-hand objective. That's where he wants to be. And it looks like he is still lining up to put fusion shots into the incubi, which I think is a very good choice. Don't get the guys out if you don't need to. Keep the value inside there. Let him try and struggle to demech you. His ability to start to demech Sean from these Star Weavers is diminishing like second by second. And look, if both squads of incubi get picked up, all Sean really needs to do is clear his lines from his characters, and it's looking a bit cooked once again. But man, Nathan pulled it out last turn. I have some confidence he's going to pull it again this turn.
Nathan is not out.
Who knows?
He did exactly what he needed to do last time, and that now Sean knows that, okay, I got to take away these resources because Nathan is actually making use of what he has left. So I have to make sure he doesn't have much left. He has so much left on the board from the looks of it, but because Nathan has all these little characters running around and these little units that can just tie things up, and they still do a lot of damage to Eldar.
Like 55-point succubuses could just walk around and pick up literally anything Sean has in his army.
It's absolutely crazy. Now it looks like did he try to pull the Shadow Specters out, and did he just fail?
I think he must have been denied, because you can see he has pulled over everything in his army to try and charge in and clear this guy out. He's pulled his other unit of Shadow Specters, which makes me believe that unit that got picked up in front of that ruin was actually Dark Reapers, which I'd love to pick Sean's brain about what the hell he was doing with that unit, but there's definitely Shadow Specters, 2 Shadow Specters in the middle of the table, in addition to it looks like two bikes. It looks like 2 bikes are still there, which makes no sense. I thought the Otak got picked up before. So, but if that is the case, he's probably going to be trying to smite into that combat and pick up that succubus. But it looks like the succubus did take some wounds. Okay, it's got a 4 on its base there. In which case, 1 smite and then one lucky wound in combat. Get that guy out of there and solve your deployment zone problems.
Right, for sure. There's still quite a bit left on Nathan's side. I know it doesn't look like it now because he did lose a lot on turn 1, but he's still got those 3 Venoms. He's got his Incubi. He's got a couple Witches left, and he's got a couple characters that are just hidden around. Now, some of the characters are going to be hard to hit for Sean, obviously, and he's got a lot of his shooting actually is tied up.
And apologies, guys. You're absolutely right. I keep forgetting he's got Swooping Hawks in his list. That's what that unit is.
That's what it was. Yes, it was the Swooping Hawks. Okay.
Good pickup there, keeping us honest. Sorry, Matt, you keep going.
I think I was done.
Fair enough. Yeah,
it's just important for Sean to do. He needs to target prioritize properly here because he needs to take away even more of the kill power. But the thing is, Nathan's kill power is still kind of hard to get to because the characters they have the Incubi. Go ahead.
He needs to trust that his fusion pistols pick up all these Incubi. He's got a unit of 5 there and a unit of what looks to be a unit of 4. Now he's got the unit of 5 man is all in cover, and so he needs to trust that hitting on 3s or possibly 4s if he advanced with that boat, which it kind of looks like he did with that one, because that's not the one the Fangmaster got out. The Fangmaster got out of the other one, which obviously didn't advance because it's quite considerably further back. That one, it looks so it's going to have 5, maybe it's actually going to have 6 shots. If the Fangmaster came out of the other one gets 6 fusion shots. Hitting on 3s, 4 hits. All of a sudden, you already didn't kill the Incubi. Yeah, he gets 1 left no matter what. And then you flub, you roll a 1 to wound, and he makes one of his inborn saves, and you kill 2 Incubi, and then 3 Incubi is still more than enough to do a hellacious amount of damage to Sean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He only needs 1 to do damage because his army is MSU style, and Incubi do a lot of attacks. They do a lot of damage with it. So that's all he just needs 1 to survive and still be able to be in this game and do some work. And that's actually something that people really forget about Drukhari. Like there's a lot of times that you'll see Drukhari table or Drukhari army be almost tabled.
Yeah,
but they still have more than enough resources to take the game and still win it.
Their scoring power is immense.
Yes.
It's absolutely immense. And it's been pointed out that he has what got picked up was just a 4-man Shining Spear unit. For some reason, I was counting 5 bikes there. It must be because I'm ridiculously tired, but here we are.
That's fair. We forgive you. We forgive you. It's okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You can also remember too, there is still the 15 to the last points for Nathan. They're still alive.
Spot on.
They're still alive. Like Nathan's still got a lot of points in this game.
Dude, you're just spot on. I completely forgot they're off the board because you look at this table and you just say, wow, Nathan's got bugger all left. But to be in all honesty, he's got 2 Raiders and Drazar, Drazar arguably the best unit in his army, off the board. And should they come down, he's got the start of turn. That's the issue. He has to bring them down his turn 5, and so therefore Sean's always going to have the ability to shoot them.
He will have an ability to shoot them. It's a matter of it's going to come down to some rolling because he's not going to be able to get out of range of the Night Spinner. He might be able to get out of range of the Dark Reapers
and the Weavers.
Yes. So the Weavers and the Night Spinner, are they enough to be able to kill a couple of Raiders? They definitely can, but it's not guaranteed.
Well, the Spinner can kill one just by itself. It just needs to get 4. It needs to get 6 wounds through. Arguably, that is pretty hard, especially if you're going ECP for a lot.
He has to roll good the number of shots too.
Yeah. So what all would really need, is he has a CP left for a reroll and he gets a Doom off on one of them, and then the Night Spinner's got a good decentish odds to get one down. Mind you, the hit you get average of 7 shots, so you need to get 6 hits on 7 shots and then 6 wounds. It's not great, but any amount of pinch hitting shooting after that Night Spinner, it's likely you get a Raider. The thing is though, I don't know where the Night Spinner is. I would love if Richard, our man on the ground, could tell us where that Night Spinner has gone. I'm assuming it's shooting up the right hand side of the board.
Yeah, it was in the bottom right. Oh no, yeah, it's under. I can see it just barely under the ruin there on the right hand side.
Yeah,
it's just peeking out of the bot there. He must be touching the objective.
It must be touching the objective. I was about to say that.
Oh, that's what that finger was. Okay,
that's what it was.
I get it now. Okay.
So it looks like he's vesting in the top left-hand corner, and this is what Sean wants to do now. Sean's got the board control, got the board state on his terms, and he wants to guarantee triple down on winning this primary now. Because in all likelihood, Nathan's ability to play the secondaries is still intact, still there.
Yeah, he's lost a lot, but he is not out of this game. Like I said, Drukhari still have so much board pressure, even because he's hard MSU. He has so many things, and each and every one of those things is a threat to Sean's army.
Yeah, absolutely right. And testament to Nathan, he took an absolute, I want to say he got punched in the mouth, but no, he got the rock dropped the people's elbow on his front teeth.
Yep. And he stood back up and he smiled, that toothless smile that people love to see. He's like, bring it. I'm still here.
Didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no bell.
Whatever Sean rolled for just then, I think he got every single wound. Every roll, everything was a 4, was a 3+, and there's a lot of 1s and 2s there. I'm gonna go out on a limb, not a big limb, and say that's the death of the Incubi. Yeah, that's what I thought. Man, savagery abounds. Yeah, look, it is what it is, guys. We may have seen a fire and fade. Oh, that's what would have happened.
Yeah, so he fired in fade so he can get in range and be able to shoot the fusion in them as well.
Get the other fusion boats in range. That guarantees the double down between all 11 fusions. He's going to kill those guys. No chance he makes it out of it. So he probably shot the boat into, just whatever is on that objective. It looks like just 2 units of witches.
Yep.
And now it looks like we've got another unit, another couple of shuriken catapults or shuriken cannons going into that squad as well. Yeah, spicy. I'll see if we've got much of an update from the other table. Looks like their issues have been resolved. If we want to head back there, it wouldn't be a bad deal. But what do you think, mate? Should we stick here for the rest of the shooting phase?
I'm curious to see what. It's hard to keep track of where all this out of line of sight shooting is going. So I think we can actually go back to. I want to see what's going on over in the John game for sure, the John and Colin game, because we can come back to this and we'll see exactly what Sean has been able to do pretty quickly. Unless people really want to see this, but it is looking like a lot of them are down there. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah,
on the ball, boys. Love it.
Just a recap of the end of John's turn. We're going into the turn 4 for Colin. John did get his turn on primary, 4 for Sacred Ground. Seraphim dropped. Seraphim was picked up by the Auspex. Retrieval picked up the leftmost transport. Morven Vile kills the rightmost transport using a miracle dice. Good job to him. Seraphim charged into the Iron Stride as a mid-board to probably get on that bottom right-hand objective. Very good play there. Colin misplayed the invuln and rolled a 5+ instead of 6+, and Colin offered to pull the models. And John just piled in onto the objective, onto the mid-right like I thought he would. He did that in order to deny Stranglehold to his opponent and not give him any annihilation of flesh. And so that's a great turn for John. And that really equalizes a lot of what the pressure that Colin is putting upon him, just, kind of rushing out from his lines to get on these midboard objectives. It's going to be no surprise that Zephyrim are going to pop. They're going to pop it like it's hot. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers get onto that bottommost objective for us. So at the end of this turn, most likely we're going to have 2 20-mans inhabiting those objectives, which is going to make things a bit icky for John. I'm really interested to know how deep he wants to go into his opponent's lines. He kind of wants to just tote 3 or 4 dudes onto each of these objectives and mean that you have, because there isn't any obsec. Like John has like 1 unit of obsec. Yeah.
I don't. So, it's the matter of if Colin's going for a big win and trying to mitigate John's points as well. I don't think he needs to do that. I think he can still pull out a win even without getting his to the last, just by toting the line, as you were saying, on those objectives, making sure he's still getting his points for Stranglehold, make sure he can try to do the flesh as well. He still has the 1 Ballistary at the back there.
So in reality, both these players just want to get points. Winning this game is only bragging rights. Really, going into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, except to be the top placed guy going into the finals, who gets to play the bottom placed guy, which we know will be the 5th best player on 1 loss. So it's not going to be exactly. It's not going to be the hardest round to get through that and get deeper into the finals. So the only reason you want to really smash these games is to get that hopefully easier run in the final against arguably could be the one of the worst opponents that makes it up there, which could be a mistake. You never know what you're going to do. It could be like an absolute counter pick to you. Could be another freaking Sean Naden out there who's just going to slap down your stuff out of nowhere. But you just need to guarantee you get points so you make it to that day 3. And so for either of these guys winning, if it looks like you're going down, throw your stuff away to get the points. Even if it means your opponent's going to beat you harder or wipe out more of your models, stuff it. Get the points in the bank. Guarantee you make day 3.
Yeah, exactly. And all you're looking for right now is, even if you're going to lose, just lose big. So get a lot of points for it. Make sure you're going to make it to the day 3. And I think both these guys are in an easy position to do that. So I don't think it's worth either of them overextending. I know John is definitely being as cagey as he can be while still getting the points he needs. And Colin does have an opportunity to really extend even further here and try to go for the last stands, but I don't think it's worth it, because if it goes sideways for him, he could lose a lot of points and he might end up losing it.
Yeah, really curious thing that's happening right now. I see this unit of infiltrators. They got out of that destroyed Dune Rider, and looks like he has I thought he was going to push those down his opponent's throat and try and get max value out of him. Looks like he's just chucking him down 6 inches away from the line. I'm going to try and get them to do his rod for him, I believe. Colin, took a Retrieval to his dart. He's measured the ranges of his opponent's guns, all of them, measured them all out, and he's pushing them at the bare minimum range to stay out of range of what I believe is a bunch of flamers inside that sacrosanct shrine. Is that what it's called? No, it's not. It's not called that. I've got it right here.
What is it actually called?
Something dumb. Dumb building of dumbness.
Dumb building of dumbness. The battle sanctum.
Battle Sanctum. That's right. That's
you were close. You were very close.
It's the value building of valueness this round.
Value building value. Yes, that's exactly what that is.
Oh, it's so damn good.
So he was measuring an angle that I'm wondering if he was measuring to see if he could actually see some of the guys that were hiding there from the obscuring, or if he's just trying to get out of range so he doesn't get counter hit.
So people are saying there's a shadow round after this. I can tell you unanimously there will be no shadow round after.
There is no shadow round yet.
There was no need for a shadow round. They put that in their players pack when they released their players pack like 6 months ago, stating that all these events have the clause in them to have a shadow round. Should there be enough players in attendance, should be a need for it. It's just there, so stated, so everybody knows what they're getting into when they buy their ticket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's something just to be ready for. But if you don't have enough players, there's just no need. They have just enough players, so they don't need to worry about it because they're already going to have several. Players with one loss.
There's only going to be 3 undefeated players, likely 3 undefeated players at the end of this round. It could be 2 undefeated players, depending on how things roll out, because one player is playing down. Because let's have a look. Have you had any scores come in? I'm going to hit a refresh on our bar. Idea. We did have Matthew Gayer playing down into Mr. Johnny Velasquez. Matthew Gayer has won his round. So we have the first guaranteed locked in guy into our top 8 is Matthew Gayer with his Adeptus Mechanicus from Team Zero Comp. Well done to you, sir. And it looks like, and I love to say this, as I'm so happy, Wyatt Turk is right now our top ranked guy with 1 loss, and he's playing double Khorne Lord of Skulls. What a freaking legend!
What a legend! I am so happy to see that. Those are just such cool models.
Colin McDade, Lennon, or Naden are probably one of them is probably going to win this event, but stuff all that. Wyatt Turk is the people's champ. He's the streamers champ, and I want him to go all the way.
Let's do it. Come on. I want to see a Khorne elbow somebody. Lord of Skulls elbow.
Everyone hype up Wyatt Turk. Just lift this boy. Lift this man up upon your shoulders. This champion of humanity. He has an Achilles Land Raider. Someone just pointed out he has a freaking Achilles Land Raider as well.
Oh my God. He gets better and better.
How has he won any games, let alone 5 out of 6?
Look at his point scores too. It's so high.
He is slapped. I want to know how many games he's gone first. I really do want to know.
That actually could make a big difference. If he's gone first every game except the one he lost, that would explain a lot too. But
yeah, well, we know he went first against the Stomper and just like, hey, Stomper, right. I know you, I love you, but get off my table.
Yep, just get off. See, the great part about this is he's going to get out of here. You're going to get to see it on stream. You're going to get
off. Yeah. No, this is a really interesting move by Colin. He had a 20-man up on the line that could have walked onto that right-hand objective, and he has pulled it back. He's pulled it back into his ruin.
So he's being a lot more conservative, which again, that's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to push too far. He needs to get a couple kills, but
what he doesn't want to do is leave that rightmost objective there for Lennon to just dive upon. But what he's probably doing, he's probably pulling back. He'll kill the Zephyrim off with the shooting and leave it exposed there. So he's on a safe 15. And what this actually does, it forces, and I think he's made a value assessment that there actually isn't anything on the right side of the table for John. He would need to use a Miracle Die 6 to advance anything from the Battle Sanctum or put Celestine on there, creating a really hard paradigm for him. But look, John's just going to sit. He's going to take a 10. He's going to sit exactly where he is. And then last turn of the game, he's just going to chuck Celestine on there.
Yep.
But what that means is that John actually has to kill the 20 men on the left-hand side of the table. And what I believe Colin was doing was measuring the charges for the Repentia that are inside that ruin and making sure he's out of the max charge range, which means he needs to expose his units to get them into that ruin in order to sling them in next turn. Very well done by Colin. That's clever.
Yep, you definitely need to do that. And that the only problem with pulling that one, that either a Ranger Vanguard, I can't remember which one it actually was. He pulled it back from the center, but it means that it's an easy decision of where to put John's Repention now, because he knows he needs to take that left hand side, and now he doesn't need to worry too much about the guys coming from the center because he doesn't need to contest the right objective nearly as much. So he can focus on that a lot more.
Exactly. That's kind of what I see happening now. He moves Morven Val over to that side, leaves Celestine where she is because she's just gonna hop, skip, jump onto that bottom objective on the last turn of the game, and then he pulls Morven Val over. She posts up there, and then next turn she starts wearing away with her shots. Maybe tries to use her 2d6 shots and dumps fire into that unit because she might want to touch the ruin because she can still probably touch the ruin and still be untargetable. Yep. Actually, probably can't. It looks like it's over 6 inches. So the Sacrosancts will have to expose themselves. But look, in all reality, he can probably get away with that. The only thing that's really going to shoot them from there with any meaningful damage is Ballistari going into a 4+ invulnerable save, it's only 6 shots. He's got a 9-man unit. Who cares?
Yeah, chances are it's not going to work.
John needs to go on his bike this turn. This looks like it is. This is turn 4. Yeah, we've had 3 turns of primary score. Yes, it's turn 4.
Sounds like it's turn 4. Yeah, can we get a confirmation?
Yeah, this is for sure top of turn 4 because we've had 3 10s come in for Colin. Nobody's got a 15. This is close. This is real close, guys. And Colin is being a clever boy with this turn. He made the right move, I think. If he had left his guys out there, he just gives up a unit of 20 dudes for literally nothing. Interesting. So he's got a unit of Fulgurite Electric Priest at the bottom of the table, and they're not doing anything. So I'm assuming what they are going to do is they're going to charge Celestine to try and keep him on that objective.
That would be a good play, actually. Killing her isn't necessarily what they need to do, but tying her up so she's not going to be able to get the objectives that John needs to get on the last turn, because that's where he needs to get a couple more points. Because the last points are going to come from his last turn.
Yeah, exactly right. Looks like John may have gone to the bathroom, so we probably want to hit a transition over to Sean's game.
Transition over the other one now.
It looks like we'll just hit the yeah, we'll just hit a transition back. So we just had an updated score on table 1, and we'll see what that comes up as. Can we get the scores up, please, Mr. Man in the hot seat? We'll get the full table view. There it is, man. It just makes you look. It makes you boys look so good when you hit that transition immediately. Give us a rundown of the scores, brother.
All right, let's have a look, see what Eldari have gotten there. So they got 6 for grind them down. Now they got 5 on engage at all fronts, which makes sense because he's already on all corners again. So we got another 3 there. It looks like his bring it down has been updated actually, and he has
table mic.
Oh, table mic, guys. I'll give it a second here. You good? Oh, I need the scores back though. Oh no!
Yeah, we're just going to suss out where that table mic's coming from, guys.
We'll update the points. We'll update the points in a second.
So yeah, look at the top side of the board for Nathan. Looks like he did lose most of what he had on that top left objective, possibly meaning that he only got a very small primary score. Looks like he did have a unit of Incubi make it through that turn. They've gone down to the bottom left-hand objective. That one is going to be very hard to take back. And it does look like that green model, that green succubus model, did make it through that round, because I see it's still there, just peeking above that sky Skyrunner model. Whatever
that is a mess down there. Oh my god,
that is an absolute cluster of the highest F-rated capacity. Look at Scourge. One baller ass Scourge survived and is holding down that rightmost objective. What a legend!
Yeah. These Scourge are, see, you needed them this time. Didn't forget them, and they're going to do their work this time. This is what they need to do.
That's right.
It looks
baby.
like is that the Troop Master? Yes, that for sure.
Yeah.
It looks like they're trying to get the troop. I think that's the Troop Master up at the top left there that he's going into with those look like witches to me. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, they look like witches to me as well. And it looks like that Troop Master's already got a wound counter on it because, well, there's nothing else that could have a wound counter on it. So looks like he probably shot some pistols, maybe thrown a grenade or whatever they've got. And yeah, it looks like he's going to go in, see if he can pull him down. There is a lot of attacks. And right now it looks like he has a bucket of hits. We're going to see a wound roll come out. This will be forced to wound, and that is not good. Unless he's got +1 strength, in which case he'd have 3s, but no, he's picking up 3s. We've got 5 wounds on that Troop Master. He needs to fail a bunch of these. He failed all of them. He failed all of them. Get him out of here.
All of them. Get that Fang Master off the table. Oh my god.
Yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
All of them.
Nate is like, just give me an average roll. I've passed 4 of these. He's got 2 wounds left.
No problem.
6 out of 6.
6. Oh yeah, just that. Is that me on camera rolling right now? Was that just happened? That's what I would normally roll on a Troop Master like that. That's ridiculous. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
This is not over. Nathan,
you love to see it.
You love to see it.
Looks like I think he's managed to fall. Does that? No. So he's in combat. Yeah. So he's fighting back. This is Nathan's combat. He's hitting the Shadow Spectre's back. Looks like they're punching into the Venom on one side, and looks like he's got 2 or 3 possibly going into the what I believe is a Succubus on the other side. Looks like he did 2 wounds to the Venom.
2 wounds.
Wow. The pilot of that Venom should be sacked. That's embarrassing.
Looks like there's 2 wounds to the Succubus over there, or 1 wound looking to get through. That was
1 wound that got through. Yeah. Yeah. Spicy. 2 CP for Nathan, 0 CP for Sean. So the shenanigans for Sean end right here, but look, his Fang Master is gone, so he's like his primary outlet is no longer there.
Now it's a lot of Venom's getting punched everywhere.
A lot of love for Nathan in the chat. I hope he gets over the line, guys. Otherwise, my first prediction of the the whole event could be wrong. I'll have to hang my head. I have to pack up my coat. Leave the venue. The venue being my own house, by the way. I'll become homeless.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate for a lot of people.
It would. Let it not be so. But yeah, honestly, I think Sean's going to take this.
Yeah, I think he still has the driver's seat in hand right now, but it's like Nathan is making it a game. Like he's doing everything he can, and he's making the right moves.
So when you look at the resources that are still available, Sean's lost none of his damage. He's still got like 2 or 3 units of Reapers. He's still got all his line of sight shooting. He's still got his main big unit of Spectres, and I think they've only lost 2 dudes. I think we just saw a hit and run.
Yeah, that was the show stealer, I believe. So after the fight, she
moved away
she
from bailed.
He does own that objective now.
Yeah, which is exactly what he wanted to do. I think that means that with him taking down the bottom left-hand court objective, I think he's held Sean to only a 5 on primary. So very well done there, Nathan. Clever sausage.
That is the show stealer's power right there. It's ridiculous. So like I said, he's making all the right moves. Like you did call it. Sean still has a lot of his damage left, but Nathan is doing everything he can to keep this game as close as he can.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's an absolute testament to Nathan. He didn't just collapse wholesale after he took that first huge hit in the mouth. Dude, the guy's a gun. No 2 ways about it.
Yeah, for sure. He's doing everything he needs to do is perfect. And if he keeps these to the last points up, that's 15 points he's going to be getting. He's still getting all his engage points because he's still everywhere. Like, it's crazy what he's able to do with what he's got left.
So now I find this interesting. Yeah, he pulled both of his Star Weavers over to shoot and put fusions down onto the Incubi. I really thought he'd be tapping the Ruin right now and putting his Daka shots, his Shuriken Cannon shots into what I believe is the unit of 5 Witches. If that was the case, like he picks up all 5 of those Witches, that's not a big deal, and then the fusions still get to shoot in the Incubi and pick those up.
I think he's just relying on his Shadow Weavers and the Night Spinner to kill those ones.
That's very true. He's still got all of them.
He still has a lot of shooting to go over there. Then he doesn't need to worry as much about it. He had all the fusion going to the Incubi there.
Like what I'm talking about now is like trying to squeeze efficiency, and Sean's just like got all of it left, so he doesn't.
Like, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
An interesting thing has happened here. Due to that Succubus falling back, he has unencumbered those units of Shadow Spectres, and they are going to be free to shoot and free to spank everything that's available to him. So in reality, he's got a unit of Hawks that look like they could be lining up a charge maybe into the Venom, mostly just to tie it down so it doesn't go on their merry way, and everything he's got is falling back this turn. That's what he's doing. So, okay, what he's doing here, he's going to shoot one of the Shuriken Cannons into the Incubi, then fire and fade it so he can put the fusions into that Venom. Whichever Venom he wants, whichever Venom survives longer than it should.
Yeah, absolutely. He's trying to get rid of all the little MSU that's still alive everywhere. He needs to make sure that Nathan can't do anything more because he's making such good use of all the resources he has left. Sean really needs to just get rid of his mobility and any damage he has left.
Shut it down. We've just had some scores come through. You just had some scores come through. Oliver Smith and his White Scars army with the 3 Volkites, Contemptors, and the 25 Vanguard vets has had another strong victory. I believe he's taken a loss. I'm just going to have a quick update on our scoreboard. Just going to hit refresh over there, give you a call of where things stand as far. Should be with only the only undefeated player sitting in top spot is Mr. Gaia. Directly below him is Oliver Smith with his White Scars. He took a loss in round 3 and has been undefeated thereafter. All his scores, like bar his loss and one other game, have been 90 points plus. 298s. What a beast. His list is phenomenal, by the way. He's really waving the flag for the White Scars at the moment.
Yeah, I actually really like that one. So hopefully Wyatt can still keep in there because depending on all these other points that are coming, because there's a lot of people coming in with some high wins right now that only have 1 loss. So the top 8 is still up for grabs right now. And it also matters what happens between John and Colin too.
Yeah, here's the thing though. I'm actually really worried for Wyatt now because if Wyatt gets bumped out by 1 more person, you got to assume that almost everybody who's playing on the top tables right now makes the top 8 if they get any decent score. Nathan still looks on track to get a 50 or 60 point loss, even if he does go down, and so that might be enough. That should be enough. He was in 2nd place coming in here to displace Wyatt, so Wyatt could unfortunately be coming in at 9th, and that'll be a really sad day for everybody.
That would be a sad day. We still need to spam his Facebook. Make sure you give him the love.
We do, 100%.
100%. We want this guy to be in there for sure.
And he's a hometown boy, isn't he? He's a Team Texas.
Is he? Let me look at that.
Oh no, the Long War.
The Long War. No.
Might as well be. Same thing.
Yeah,
they got a lot of love for him down there.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll have to see what Nathan can pull out here.
As much as it's Yeehaw country, it's Yo Dog country. Look, Sean's only up by 11 points. He's only up by 11 points, and we know Nathan's got a possible 15 points. What I think is going to end up being 10 points coming in at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. Now, an interesting thing that I think Sean wants to do on his turn 4 is to get all his quick stuff into the middle of the table. Either that, or he wants to get everything out of his transports and zone off, so he makes those raiders deep strike where he wants them. Out in the open, we can draw maximum amounts of fire on them.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yes,
yes, please. We're going to clock update, guys. Wow, 4 minutes 30 seconds for Sean, 6 minutes for Mr. Nathan, Mr. Fennel. Look, if they don't get to turn 5, does he get any while we stand points?
Ooh, it depends, because technically they're not on the table if you don't get to that turn. If he doesn't bring him
correct. In, and this is why it's important that this is why it's important you don't talk out turns, guys, because this matters. Whether he gets those 15 points or not may matter for him making the top 8 or not.
Yeah, that's actually a huge deal.
So we'll see which way they decide to go with it.
Yeah, I'm curious. Both of them are 6 minutes and 4 minutes. And the funny part is Nathan's the one that has more time left after all the long thing he's done, because Sean's had to think a lot too, because Nathan's put him in positions like I can't just.
You know what it is? Sean's had a shooting phase, and Nathan hasn't.
That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
That's exactly right. We just had some updates from the chats. Apparently Wyatt is a hometown boy. He's a hometown hero. He's from Texas. He's from Austin. He's just he's one of the Longwall crew. He loves those boys. He's part of their team. What a good lad. I do like the Longwall jerseys. I think they're sick.
Oh yes, they're awesome.
Yeah, we might get a transition over to the other game now and just see what's unfolding there, because there was some really pivotal stuff happening for John. Yep. As it is right now, Sean is up 46-35, but man, that is very close, everything to play for. But I think the primary, after this turn, I don't think Nathan's going to be able to get anything but 5s on the primary the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. So it was really important he gave Sean that 5 in that turn. Yep, as you can see in the top left-hand corner, that unit of witches up there has been heavily invested upon. Whatever's left there actually has a wound on it, which makes me think it's a character.
Yeah, it looks like it.
We're going to hit that transition and go have a peek.
Let's have a look at this.
I ain't seen nothing.
And go. It worked. I'm so good at this.
There we go. Looks like so. Yeah, man, John has to do some stuff, man.
Oh yeah,
you have to do some stuff, and he's not doing stuff. I haven't seen anything change in his board state. But maybe he's just waiting for turn 5. Maybe that's all he's doing, knowing that all he needs to do is put what's that unit at the bottom left-hand corner for him? Is that his other unit, of Zephyrim?
They look like just Battle Sisters.
The bases are too big. They're on 32s.
What are they?
Sorry, they're on bigger than 32s.
Yeah,
they're on 35s or whatever they are. We're getting a man on the ground to tell us. I could be completely wrong.
The finger of God is about to tell us.
That's exactly right. Our update from the table boss, a 10 on primary for Colin that turn. The Rangers moved into cover mid-left objective and get the angles on Retributors. The midfield Vanguard moved back into the deployment zone, and Rod was done for the 3rd time, like I thought, by the infiltrators that moved up. The Vanguard killed the mid-right Zephyrim. Vanguard killed the bottom left Retributors, and he is going to get Stranglehold this turn. John is going to get 10 on primary. Looks like we're into the bottom of turn 4 for John. So, and man, he needs to make some stuff happen. He needs to position up so that he has a really, really powerful turn 5. Otherwise, this is actually out of his reach.
Yeah, he definitely needs a strong turn 5 right now. He doesn't need to commit too much right now, because he's already on the back foot in terms of all the stuff in his zone. There's no point in trying for Stranglehold at this point. It is too much. He needs to commit to that left side to be able to take that out. He's going to be losing too much because he wants to be able to get a 15 on the last turn, but it's going to be really hard for him to do at this point, I think.
So what I thought was going to happen didn't actually happen. I thought the Electro Priest on the right-hand side were going to come in trying to get a charge off onto that bottom right objective in order to keep those characters there and keep them from getting onto that middle, or the bottom middle objective for us.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he forgot about them. Is there something else on there? There's something else just came out on John's side in the bottom.
Yeah,
bottom
it did.
Right
I think that's his other unit is Zephyrim.
Okay. Oh, those are Battle Sisters.
Yeah,
I was right. I called it.
Dude, you called it, baby. You were correct. That's the only obsec John has in his entire army, right there. So that is pretty cute. Right now it's 66-54. Colin's up by 12 points, but in all reality, Lennon's up by 3 points with the while we stand. So if actually nothing changed right now, if they both scored 10 on their primary, John would win by 3 points.
Yeah,
but
and
there's another Retrieval data available. There's another Grind Them Down available, and there's another Stranglehold available for Colin, which would put him over by 6 points.
Close.
Apologies.
It's not grind.
It's not grind.
It's not grind. But he should be able to kill the Battle Sisters there. But what John is doing right now is he's actually screening out to make sure the Sacristans stay alive, so he keeps while he stands, because the Solar Flare is still available. He's screening out the board to save them. That's what he's doing.
That's what he was doing, pulling back. He pulled back to create the null zone. So, create a bit of a dead zone, and then he's going to just Solar Flare onto it with a full heavy 20-man. That's cool. That was a very nice play, Mr. Colin, if that's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
There was a pause on the clock. It's 15 minutes on. So we get actually a clock update, please.
15 minutes on Colin and 7 or 8 on John. Looks like.
There you go. Fair. As long as that was adjudicated by the judge, no problems there. Right. They're probably free to play out their round as they see fit. Again, interesting that John has used more time. You would think it'd be the other way around, but Colin has been playing a very defensive, very clever game here, so I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, so John's actually made a really clever play by screening out his back, so that it's going to nigh guarantee that he's going to get 15 points to the last right now. So really, like we said before, it's not going to actually matter who wins it, and I think this is going to get the points, so both of them should make it in the top 8.
Oh, 100%. Both these guys are making the top 8, and literally this is just bragging rights and who possibly gets the easier games in the first round of the finals.
I have a feeling this might actually end in a draw, because I think Colin's going to get the 3 points for eradication, and I think that's going to clinch it to a tie, because I don't think there's anything else that's going to be able to happen.
Well, he's going to get Stranglehold, though. So, yeah, he's going to get Stranglehold by just doing nothing, because Lennon doesn't have anything on the right side. So, he gets another 3 points there. So, I'm seeing him winning by 2 or 3 points, even if all to the last maintain, because in reality, John is keeping his to the last at the expense of the Stranglehold, which is the right play, 100% right play. You don't give up 5 points to get 3. That's just ridiculous. But due to that, he's a little bit hampered on this back end. We switch back to the Sean Naden game, because we've just had an update on scores. What do you see there, mate?
I see Sean Naden on almost every single objective, and now I see Sean Naden talking. There we go. Now I see Sean Naden on every single objective again, and we are. Is that the Autuk there, Farseer? Okay, he is completely taken over every. I don't think there's much left. Those are Shadow Specters, I think, on the bottom left there. So he's just making sure that Nathan is not going to be able to get any more real primary points. He's not going to be able to kick him off of it. He's making sure he's going to get the primary points that he needs to finish off in the top 8. And then it's just a matter of, are these Raiders that are coming down going to die?
Well, so the Raiders come down, and then he just takes whatever shots he's got, tries to take one off. But in all reality, it doesn't matter. He's just denying points that is not going to win Nathan the game. He can just let him have the 15 if he wants and say, yeah, whatever, mate. Give me my 15 for the end of the game. You deep strike down, take your 15. I won't even bother shooting, because we're on the clock. We don't have much time left.
That's true.
So, yeah, no stress, no fuss. Damn good game by Nathan.
Hats off to Nathan. This was absolutely phenomenally played. He did everything that he needed to do afterwards. Like it was a bold play turn 1, and he made it work. He made it work with everything he had left. He did everything he needed to do. It was really well done.
I just really wish he had a bit more conservative turn 1. Yeah. Because if he did, I reckon that it would have equated to an easy 10, 15 more points on his scoreboard at the end. You see where the Raiders are coming? So this is the start of turn 5. The Raiders deep striking down to the bottom right-hand corner.
Get away from that fusion.
Yeah, away from the fusion. No fusion will be able to shoot him whatsoever. Nothing he can do. He's going to hold. From that position, he's just going to get shot by the Night Spinner that's going to tap the Ruin and the 3 Shadow Weavers. I don't think anything can get over there to charge him either. So it's just whether that's enough to pop one of these boats. And probably not if he's got enough CP to lightning fast, which looks like he does. I think he's probably walking out with a 15 to the last. So that will be, he's not going to get any more primary. That's out of the question. Yeah. So he's got 15 on primary, 7 for engage, 15 for while we stand, 8 for Retrieval data. What's that final? So 15 plus 7, so that's 22 plus 15. So that is 37 plus 8. So 55. So you're going to end up on about 65 points, and Mr. Naden's going to get another 15. And
yeah,
pretty much
that was still that's a lot of points going for him. But we should go back to the other game because they're actually this one's pretty much wrapped up at this point. We're just going to see exactly how many points Nathan's going to pull out here. We got to see how this is going to end over here because this is. Oh, it looks like he took out the infiltrators on the left hand side.
Yeah, I thought he was going to target the infiltrators because they're the only aggressive element that's going to be able to come in turn 5 and stop him from Voltroning out and getting onto that objective in John's turn 5. So taking them out is for exactly the same reason I thought that he'd been holding the Corpuscari back. It's because he wanted to put those in turn 5 and bottle John up to stop him from Voltroning out and getting onto the 15.
Sure.
And that's exactly what he's done. He's held them back all freaking game, and now he's advanced them in order to try and get them onto that right-hand objective. I'm not quite sure what he's rolled, but he's picked up a model, and I think John just double and triple checked. They're just going to it's going to go really tight and just make sure that he can do it. In all reality, all that means is that between all his shooting, all his combat from Celestine and Morven Vile, he just needs to pick up, 7 wounds, 7 toughness, 3 wounds that are going to have 2 saves, an invuln, a 5+ and a 5+. Shouldn't be too hard. Celestine probably is able to do that between shooting and fighting by herself. Give us a wrap up of the scoring, because this is the end of game scoring for Colin, and he's managed to get that 15.
Yeah, so he did get the 15 on primary, which is going to be a big deal. He's got 12 on Stranglehold, obviously, 12 on Grind Them Down. So he's got that. Or not, sorry, it is Eradication of Flesh, yeah. Those Ballistari at the back are not getting touched anymore. So as long as he kills an infantry in every turn, he's getting the points for that. He's got an 8 for Retrieval Arterius Dead. I think that's going to be the max he's going to get on it now, unless those Rangers in the bottom left are going to do that instead, which they could do. I think they could do that, so it shouldn't be too much. But he could get the 12 there, so it's going to be a big point for him either way.
The Rangers would need to advance to get past the 6-inch line. I don't think they're going to be able to. He'd have to move all the way off the objective in order to do it. I don't think he's willing to do that.
Not going to the solar flare either.
There's the solar flare. That means I don't really envision John being able to take these objectives back. The one in the top left is the only one that's available, but everything was measured to such precision by Colin that I don't think John's going to be able to do it. I think John's going down here. He's going to get a 10 on the primary score. Look, I called him going down by about 3 points about 20 minutes ago. I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. I'm calling about probably 7, maybe even 15 points. But look, it should still be enough to see John into the finals, no problems. He was coming in, he was our 4th placed player coming in here. So as long as he walks away with like something around 70 points, which he automatically gets to if he just keeps his 3 to the lasts, I think he's still comfortably in the finals.
Yeah, I think he's going to get exactly what he needs to get here. I think he's still fine because he got a lot of points in other games. He's going to be getting 40 on the primary. He's going to be getting no more Stranglehold. He's going to get 15 on to the last. So he's already, 36, 51, no more Sacred Ground. So he's going to be at 59, 69. That should be more than enough because I think some of the other guys up there that even have a loss have a win on 69 as well. So yeah. He should be fine in the top 8. I think, don't quote me, but I can't imagine him not making it in there. Obviously, Colin's going to be making it in there now. There's no way that John can actually make the points back at this point. There's unfortunately nothing he can do to make the win, but he will still get a point.
Ooh, oh no.
What happened?
So the final scores have come through from the Sean Naden and Nathan game, and it looks like Sean went for the throat and knocked out. See, this is an interesting thing, yeah? So this might be why Sean has gone for the throat here, because it looks like he's knocked out at least one of his while he stands and has kept him to 44 points. Sean got a 93 and to a 44 for Nathan. Now, why do you think he did that? If he went for the throat, there was no real reason for him to kill those raiders or those while we stands, but I can think of one really good reason. What do you think it is?
Oh, I'm curious to hear your take on it.
Sean doesn't want to play him again.
That is a great point.
Knock him out, take him out of the pool. He's seen most of your tricks already. You're Sean freaking Naden, and you get like 20 points a game from trickery. He's seen them all. He's plotted out. He knows what he needs to do next time to get closer to you. Take him out of the event. Take him out of the running. He may still sneak in. He did have a very high score. He was second place then, but that's a damn good reason to go for the throat at the end of the game.
Yeah, that is actually a perfect reason too, because if he gets into the top 8, has to play Sean again, he has the information now. He knows more of what to do.
Exactly.
He knows the tricks. He's ready.
When you build a list that's leveraged off jank and trickery on playing perfectly, and a guy rattled you. He rattled him in that turn when he got all those characters in, tied him up, kept him locked down. And I'm guessing if he was able to do that with just a little bit more left on the table, Sean would have gotten like I'm not saying that Sean wouldn't have won, but there's no way he would have got a 90 freaking 4.
No, absolutely not. I think Nathan learned that now too, and that's the thing. If he got to play Sean again, he wouldn't do that again. He's like, all right, I know exactly what I need to do. These resources, I just need to keep them for one extra turn. That's all I need. Just not let you shoot me with the Shadow Specters turn 1. Get all the shooting that you needed line of sight for and range out of the way, and I'm in good shape to continue this game.
So just giving you guys an update on our current leaderboard. We have Mr. Matthew Guy with AdMech sitting as the only undefeated player as now. Looks like Sean Dane is going to be joining him and knocking him down to second place, with him taking first. And then Colin McDade also coming in. Looks like he's going to get the win over John Lennon, but that is still yet to be determined. John could have some absolute mastermind, big brain, galaxy level stuff coming out. Below him is Mr. Oliver Smith, being our top ranked gentleman with a loss, playing his White Scars. Below that, Mr. Peyton Priest playing Drakari with a very respectable score as well, 501 points for that, sir. Tyler Johnson playing Drakari in our fourth place. Right now he's third and fourth Drakari. Then we have Wyatt Turk dropping down to fifth place, and Brad Townsend playing AdMech as well in sixth. So unfortunately, it looks Imperial Knights got the win in their last round. By the way, they got an 87, and we got a 5-1 Imperial Knight player and a 5-1 Lord of Skulls player, double Lord of Skulls player. Like, well done to you, gentlemen.
That's
props.
Brilliant, guys. That is amazing. They're so close to making the top 8 too, but it looks like they're going to get knocked out of the top 8, which is unfortunate. Would have loved to see either Lord of Skulls or Knights in the top 8, but you guys had a fantastic run. Well done to you. You guys should be really proud of yourself.
Yeah, exactly right. We're just seeing the final moments of this game. Look, in all honesty, he's completely zoned out of that right-hand objective. There's no way Celestine or Morvenval together go in and take that one back, because he's got a character, he's got a unit of Corpuscari on there, and he's got a full 20-man OBSEC unit. There's I'm not sure there's much point in John playing the last of his turn. They can probably just say, hey, look, I'm good at these points. There's no reason for me coming out and risking anything, unless he's got like a proper 12 on his Repentia, and that will get him onto that top left objective to clear out that unit. And even that doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't get him a 15. That gets him a 10 that he's already going to get anyway from just sitting still and not risking anything. So look, I think this is it is what it is. I think John's going to go down this round. He's going to be getting a very healthy score from it though. Yeah. He's already got 10 more points than poor Nathan Fennell, and they were very close in score already. So I think if anything happens, John's probably going to be taking Nathan's spot in the top 8.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to be happening right now. John is making some measurements. He is trying to think if there's a play he can make to take either a win or get as many points as possibly can.
Well,
he's pulling out all the stops he can. He wants to make sure he gets the top 8. I think, because he doesn't know what the other points are right now, right? So he wants to make sure that he's maximizing his points right now. He might be accepting the fact that he's not going to win this game, but he knows he can still make the top 8 if he gets enough points. So John knows what he's doing.
I'm seeing some other players that are in contention that I know their faces in the back, just watching this thing anxiously. It's like, do I have to play Colin or do I have to play Nathan? I don't want to play either. Please don't be, XYZ. I love the little machinations of the spectators, just being like, I'm invested. I want to know what happens in this game.
This is one of the most fun parts when these games are still going, and the other players like, I want to know what happens because I want to know what's happening with me.
Yeah, spot on. Look, this is a really well played game by Colin. I thought Colin made all the right plays early. Mid game he made the right plays, then late game he made the right plays. For early game we didn't see a lot of it because we were calling so much of the Sean Naden game. But yeah, he did the right things, backing off from that objective, knowing he had the solar flare to dump on at turn 5. Pretty very clever. And that's one thing I wish I saw more Necron players do, is use that late game veil in order to guarantee a win and lock down board position. But what I usually see is their hands being forced. And so I don't want to say it's Necron players being or not using it appropriately. Necron players just don't have the power of AdMech to wait until the last turn to use the damn thing.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing. John's talking through something. He thinks he might have some magic.
Yeah, it looks like we have a Necron player. We've just been told in chat. Looks like we had a Necron player just crack the top 8.
Really? Really? Let's have a look at this.
Marshall Peterson, Holy Terror Gaming.
Oh, he is there.
Got in
Marshall, the man.
His loss. Remember, we called that loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
He No commentators. They
no
can't hear us.
commentators. We're gone. We're still here, guys. We're still here. We're still here.
So Val just told us he tried to do something cool, and instead it did something very uncool, and you guys couldn't hear us. We were just lamenting the fact that Wyatt Turk is currently sitting in 7th, and he's going to get knocked out if both these gentlemen make the top 8. So unfortunately, we almost had a dream, Wyatt Turk making the top 8 with his double Lord of Skulls. Unfortunately, not to be. Nathan Fennell's sitting in 9, so he's already knocked out. But Marshall Peterson is right now the tail of this top 8. Necron's making the top 8, guys. Necron's dropping 1 game. He dropped his game versus Nathan Fennell, who's not in the top 8, and he is because he took a 70-4 out of that game.
Because he played it so well, he got the points he needed, and he's going to make it to the top 8 now. So we have some White Scars, we have some Necrons, we actually have a couple cool things. We almost had Lord of Skulls. Almost.
Exactly right. Look at everyone gathering around. Look at this crowd of seagulls. They're wanting to know what happened. John's adding it up. I think he's going to be going down by about between 7 and 10 points on my. I don't think the magic that he needed to happen happened. You don't think that happened either, yeah?
No, it doesn't look like it. There's the handshake.
It is what it is, guys.
Okay,
but it looks like
these points coming in. I want to see where we stand.
I really want to see. Well, with 54, in all likelihood, that was enough to get over the line. It looks like the judge has been scoring himself, and he's showed them the final score. They've had a handshake, and it is what it is, guys. I'm pretty sure John Lennon's gone down. We'll wait to see it get subbed. I think the judge himself has put those scores in.
Oh,
I'm going to hit refresh.
John Lennon is 6, so he is in the top 8. That knocks out. Wyatt Turk just barely didn't make it.
So
sad face.
Running it down right now. 5 of the top 8 are usual suspects, what we expected. 2 Drakari, 1 Sisters, and 2 Admech. And then we have our X Factor being, Sean Naden is not X Factor. He's just Sean Naden.
He's like Z Factor.
Playing his mixed Eldari. Then we have Oliver Smith with his White Scars and Marshall Peterson with his Necrons. I think Marshall Peterson's our new hero.
Yep.
And everybody should get on the bandwagon there.
All right.
That's who we're cheering on, guys.
That's the Facebook we need to go to now. Everybody get on Marshall Peterson's Facebook. Cheer him on. We need this dark horse to take these Necrons to the top here.
So just to put a perspective, I think that means we're going to have Sean Naden versus Tyler Johnson. So we're going to have another. Sean Naden doesn't get to play either of these AdMech armies, and he wants to play both of these AdMech armies. So he's going to be playing into the 8th ranked place with his Tyler Johnson with his Drakari, and then we'll see Colin McDade playing into another Drakari. So we're going to see double AdMech into Drakari, and then we've got another AdMech player playing into John freaking Lennon has to play AdMech again, and then the White Scars. No, the White Scars are going to play the Necrons. Damn it.
Come on!
Damn it. We can't have nice things.
Come on! This is why we can't have nice things, guys.
So we got like 2 AdMech versus Drakaris, cool, whatever. And then we got sisters versus AdMech, cool, whatever. And we got White Scars versus Necrons, this super exciting stuff we want to see, and one of them's going to knock the other one out. Yeah, it's what it is, guys.
That's just not what you want to see. That's very, very sad, Panda. We have 2 dark horses, and they have one of them has to knock the other one out. Come on,
that's fine. Come on. But I'm going to call that. What do you reckon? Do we reckon we call that game? We put those 2 gentlemen on. We put on the top table, and we put that one. I reckon.
Absolutely, those guys need to be on for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to put Oliver Smith versus Marshall Peterson and Sean Naden versus Tyler Johnson. But I fully expect these gentlemen we're going to be able to give you this running stats of all those games tomorrow. But we're going to take this opportunity to sign out. I am well and truly cooked. 2 days of this with I think I'm on sub 6 hours sleep across these 2 days. So pray for Adam. Pray you see me tomorrow morning and I make it to this thing. What am I joking? Nothing's going to stop me.
Well, of course,
hell, if literally the apocalypse came and these guys were willing to roll dice, I'd be here to commentate it. Dustin, you've been a freaking gun. Anybody who has anything bad to say about Dustin, shut up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. I'm glad I could be with this. It was really honored to be beside you for it. I'm hoping everybody enjoyed my take on things in my commentary here, because I haven't been able to do it without Camilleri before, and I had a lot to live up to. Hopefully we lived up to it and more. And you got to give it to Adam. He is absolute machine for this stuff, so guys. It is crazy.
I do it because I love it. Thank you to the 2 unsung heroes of this, Richard and Val, who I just have to sit here and do what I love doing. They have to pull their hair out and lose their freaking minds on an hourly basis, keeping this juggle of floating, moving parts, esoteric, imaginary things that they want to cook up going at frantic pace. So thank you too much to you two boys. Hope there's a lot of love for you guys in the chat. We're going to peace out. We're going to close out. Your top 8 is locked in, guys. It's going to be really spicy, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
See you then.